Tell them run it on.
What is going on? What is going on? Everybody in the house, what is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check. No drip, this wet. Tell them run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it on. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check. No drip, this wet. Tell them run it on. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check. No drip, this wet. Tell them run it on.
What is going on? What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on? Let me get this thing off of my window here. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Wake up in Cleveland. It is Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday afternoon on a very, very nice, hot day in Southern California. Hope everybody's doing great. We are doing fantastic today. We are, just happy to be here today. Happy to be here. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Hopefully the volumes are good. We always work through some details. I found my in-ears. So that's already a good thing. For whatever reason, I just keep missing things. But I can hear, for instance, know that MoFi is a part of the Wake Up crew. Thank you so much. Appreciate you for the sub. 5 months with Prime. I heard that in my ear, so I'm assuming that's a good thing. They've been a little weird. They've been a little weird lately. What do we got here? Demand in the building. Demand with the subscription. 5 months with Prime also. Hey guys, just so you know, you can always use your Prime subscription. It's free for you. You don't have to pay a dime if you are a Prime member, which I have on my video too. You've seen that. But use that for me. It doesn't cost you anything. You have one free every month. So thank you for participating. Let me put this thing on auto. So we don't go through all the drama that we normally do. Anyway, so today we have a very special guest. We got Nick Spinelli in the building. He'll be on in a few minutes. I'm glad to have him on. I'm actually shocked that he said yes to me because he likes to say yes and then disappear off the face of the earth. So I'm glad that he's here today. I do see him in the green room. So that is fantastic. Okay, let's do a little sound check here. Let's do a little room check. Let's see who's in the building. We got Jay Book. Jay Book, that's one of the fam right there. Make sure you're following Jay Book. That is one of the YouTube fam. Although I have not seen Jay Book on stream lately. Trying to figure out what's going on right there. Trying to figure that out. We got Feta in the house. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out today. Thanks for hanging out. Trey Money. It looks like Chris. I'm just going to say Chris. I was watching your video, just watching videos about the Artiphone Concord needles. All right, cool. To be fair, I've never owned an Artiphone needle in my life. To be fair, I've only used Shure M44.7s, M44Gs, and now the Jinkos and, the copycats. But I've never used Artiphone. James Jackson in the building. Good to see you, man. Philip Ton in the building. Who else we got here? We got the Nick Spinelli. His head actually made it in the logo, in the circle. You never know. He is like itching to say something. He's like, why won't my microphone work? I got shit to say. Cold cut fingers, LeBron Delancey. What's good, guys, on the YouTube side? Oh, speaking of the YouTube side, let me make a quick tweak on the YouTube side. I always forget to do this in the beginning. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Because at least as a minimum, if I'm going to do it on the YouTube side, for things as special as, Nick Spinelli, we should be compensated for it. So let me make sure that he is on. It is on. Look at me thinking ahead today. I think Nick might be the only person I've actually thought ahead for and said, you know what, I need to turn this on. I need to turn this on. Priyo and Joni in the house. What's up, PJ? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I have been I have been trying. It looks like we got a hype train. We got a hype train in the building. Raw DJs with the subscription. Appreciate you guys. Wow, I feel like Tweak Music Tips right now. Getting a hype train this early in a show. That's amazing. Well, let's go. Let's go. We got the hype train full in effect. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's see who else we got here. Everybody else, thank you for the follows. Thank you for joining the crew. Philip Ton with the 100 bits. Thank you so much. So I have been, I told people on Monday that I was actually in demand with the 100 bits. Thank you so much that I was in Arizona. And, we had Chris Villa in on Monday, which actually was a good show. I'm not trying to discount Chris Villa, but if you know Chris Villa, he's very, just monotone, and he just kind of says, and he does his thing, So I was a little bit concerned because I saw him on Tweak Music Tips, and I was a little concerned. But I think what happened was when I met him, when I went to his club on that Saturday night after my event, it kind of broke the ice a little more with us. So it was a very, very good show. I recommend that anybody out there watch. It's there's a lot of information to learn, and Chris is actually an amazing DJ. Like you've seen DJs on Twitch and they're doing their thing, but Chris does everything live with like absolute perfection. Like I watched him. I just sat next to him like he's killing it. He's killing it, And again, I mean, I know I had that video about can Twitch DJs make it in the club environment? And I did say, yeah, if you're good enough, but it's going to be a hard road to kind of travel. Chris Villa is like one of those reasons that it's hard for just kind of Twitch streamers to make it in the clubs, because there is a style to club DJing that you have to be good. Anybody can DJ in a club, but I mean, for him to go from like Little John to Banda, back to like some old school funk track, it's poetry in motion. So you got to know your stuff. And the fact that he doesn't look at any of his crates, he doesn't even use crates, that's absolutely insane. And you don't understand. And I know I mentioned it, but the sheer amount of alcohol that he was consuming from when I got there to when I left, I would not have been able to search for music quite like he did. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so we are at level 2, 6%. We just stopped here. What happened on my hype train? Let's keep it moving. We got the mod in the building. We got John P in the building. Who else we got in here? Let's drop down from the top up. DJ Kenny D, love your work. Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate that. I was watching it back until you went live. Perfect. Looks like my mods are lurking today. I don't have a lot of mods today. So hopefully, Nick doesn't drive the crowd to go crazy. Hopefully this isn't a Cubert show where everybody and their mama has an opinion. And oh, did you guys have opinions? So many opinions. There are so many opinions. I was in somebody else's Discord. I was in their Discord looking for something, and I was like, oh, let me just see. They had some music in their Discord. Let me just go check something out. And I get into the Discord, and it's like, hey, Cubert's on Cleveland show. Oh, and then it's just like, I'm like, damn, this was really polarizing. This was a polarizing show. That's why we do it, right? That's why we do it today. That's why we're in the building. Nick's got his people. He's been doing his interview show on YouTube. That's been really, really good. He's got, I like the style that he's putting out there. But hey, man, controversy is where it's at. And that is one of the reasons that I brought Nick on, because Nick is not a stranger to controversy. So we're gonna chat it up in just a second. I think we're good. We're gonna pop over to the commercial, and then since apparently the hype train crashed and burned, so it's dead. So so we're gonna move on. Joshua, I love Nick and Cleveland Terry YouTube videos. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Chris says, please pronounce me as me. I hope you're doing well. Chris me. Okay. Chris me. Gotcha. Like crispy. Like Krispy Kremes. That's your new name. Krispy Kremes. Okay. Let's move. BJ says, Terry taking DJ journalism and transforming it to just journalism. Drew said. Yeah, it's actually kind of a funny thing. Because I have been, when people ask me what I am and what I do, I have been telling people, I am a tech journalist. Yes, I'm a DJ journalist, but I'm a tech journalist. I talk about tech. I talk about DJ stuff and tech. So I'm a DJ tech journalist. That's the way I look at things. And I take it seriously when I do things like this. And when I review a piece of product, I take it seriously. There's nothing happier to me when I hear people say, like I was on the Hoya Luck Club scratch session yesterday. I didn't get on, but I was just watching. And there was a guy on, and he was on with the Rain 1, killing it, just murdering it. And he saw that I was on, and he was like, oh, hey, Cleveland Terry. Hey, I just want to let you know, I watched your video. I love the video, everything about it. You're one of the reasons that I bought this controller. Nick hates it. You're one of the reasons that I bought this controller, and you were dead right about all the things that you said were right and that you said were wrong. So I appreciate that. Thank you. That is why I do videos. So when people are like, oh, you're a shell. Oh, you're just doing this. I am very, very, very balanced, fair and balanced with my reviews. At least I'd like to think so. And, a lot of people were just telling me, oh, the Rain, it's just like an NS7. It's like, fine, whatever, you can do your thing. But a lot of people, if you've actually listened to what I'm saying, versus, oh, DDJ 1000 or the Rain 1. If you listen to what I'm saying, you can have all that information available to you. A lot of people don't listen. A lot of people hear what they want to hear. Okay, that sounds great. And then they move on. Or that sounds bad. And then they move on. They're not prepared for the rest of the review. And I'm not just spending 10 minutes on a review, 10, 15, 20 minutes on a review just to keep the YouTube time going. If I'm going that long, it's because there is something that needs to be said. So, hey, Feta says you're the reason that I didn't buy it. And that's fine too. That is absolutely fine. That's my job, to tell you the good points and the bad points. For some people, the bad points are not enough or enough for them. Just like the good points. So anyway, we're going to move on. We are going to move on to the commercial, and then we're going to bring on Mr. Nick Spinelli. So sit tight for a couple of minutes. You guys know what to do, so we can get all this prepared. And here we go. Okay, look, I know you think this is a little weird that we're sitting here talking and I just left and I was in a completely different outfit. Well, that's future me. I'm past me. So what I want to talk to you guys a little bit about while they're setting up for this next guest that's coming on, and I'm sure they're going to be dope, but I want to talk to you a little bit about ways to support the channel. You see, there's a lot of work that goes into this channel, and the only way to keep it going, the only way to keep bringing on new people and upgrading the sets and upgrading the intros is by you supporting me. So here's a couple of ways that you can support me, and I'm not sure that a lot of you know this. If you're new to Twitch, you want to look down right here. There's a little subscribe button. That's the easiest way to support me. It's like $5. It's like buying me a cup of coffee. If we're at the bar, you're buying me a beer. If you're feeling a little more generous, maybe you want to gift somebody a free sub. If you are a Prime member, you can use your Prime membership. You get one per month. You can use that on me. It doesn't cost you anything. Now, if you're sitting there on the YouTube side, you can also hit that membership button right there, or you can give me a super chat and then send me off a tip. Look, I know that times are tough, money's tough, and I know that what I'm asking for some of you people might be a little too difficult. So there are other ways that you can help the channel. You can host the stream. Share the stream. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, share the stream to everybody. Get the word out. That's the easiest way to help me out, and that doesn't cost you a dime. Those are just a couple of ways that you can do this. I think they're coming back, so I need to get out of here. Just remember what I said. We'll see you soon. Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, this man is a very popular social media guy. He's been on IG. He has a huge following on IG. Like, actually obscene, in my opinion. Huge following on IG. He has a huge following on Twitch, and YouTube is growing by the day. The man is killing it, and I wanted to have him on, so I'm glad he could come on. So, ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause? Throw those emotes in the chat if you got them. Put your hands together for Nick Spinelli.
What's
up, man?
How we doing?
We're doing great. I love the look on your face, like you have something you want to say to me. So,
No, nothing at all. I'm a man of my word. I came on. Look at me. Here I am.
You did. And you know, more power to you. We give him a hard time, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat. We give him a hard time because when we were doing quarantine DJs, and you guys know Jay Books in the chat, we would invite Nick, and Nick would say, "That sounds amazing. I'm there. Let's go." And then we'd get up to the day and we're like, actually be like the day before, like, all right, everybody confirm you're in. And then like Nick is like nowhere to be seen. No, you can't hear him, can't see him. He's nowhere. Then you get to the day and he's like, oh yeah, I got okay, cool. Whatever. Let's reschedule you. Let's do that. And then you ask him again.
This is all true story. It was a rough time. I was doing, there's a lot, whatever. I don't know. I was all over the fucking place. I couldn't even, I don't know. I couldn't figure nothing out. I got to admit, though, thanks for having me on. I don't know why you even had me on. I'm interested to know why, because, like, what the fuck? What, DJ Angelo, Q Burt, Chris Villa, Fat Man Scoop, and then Nick Spinelli. Like, what? Like, really? That's did you run out of room in the marketing budget? Like, what happened? Why am I here?
That's a very good question. And I think people need to understand this, because they think that I'm just like, oh, I'm just getting the biggest people. And that's not actually true. Like, I want people that I feel are doing things for the community, or doing things that are cool that the community should be able to have access to. And I think a lot of people, they just think, oh, you don't bring anybody on that's small. I'm like, if they're dope, I bring them on. Like, I got no issue with that if they're dope. And I think what you're doing right now, and what you've been doing, is I think it's good, man. So I wanted you on. Yeah,
well, I appreciate it, bro. It's an honor.
Now
I'm excited.
Now, one of the things that I just noticed, and I'm taking off the stupid, we got to fix this thing with do you use StreamYard, by the way?
No, I use Ecamm Live.
Ecamm Live. Okay, gotcha. Well, there's this, every so often the overlays get in the way when you bring it to a smaller thing. Like, I wish they would go away. And I like Ecamm Live. Ecamm Live is a very good program, except it's Mac only, so that's the only issue. But I loved it. The only issue I had with Ecamm Live was, are they still doing the limited hours? Like, you have to pay for your hours, and once you reach a certain thing, you got to like upgrade.
Yeah, but it's not like crazy. It's like I think you get like 12 hours. I don't know how many. I only do my show once a week though, so it doesn't like hurt me too bad. But yeah, it is limited hours. That's how they get you. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like 12 hours a month, right? Something like
Correct.
that.
Yep.
Yeah. 12 hours a month for me would have been done in like a week and a half.
Wow. Yeah.
So I can't do it.
Getting expensive.
Exactly. So now, I think a congratulations is in order. You are now a Beat Source curator.
Thank you. Yeah.
Let's talk about it. How did that happen?
How did it happen? So I've been working with them for months, like in the shadows. So there's a guy named Ewan. Shout out to Ewan. He's out in Scotland. Really cool dude, and he works for Beat Source.
Okay.
And he's a DJ. He's a wedding DJ out there. And, you know, we connected through Instagram, and he'd message me, and we'd message back and forth or whatever. You know what I mean? We do voice messages, which is, I do that a lot on Instagram. I'll answer like I don't know about you. You should try this. Like, if you get a lot of messages on Instagram, kind of to filter through it quick, if you want to answer the questions, instead of typing it out, I'll just hit that voice shit and be like, yo, man, just fucking hit the button on the top left. You'll be fine. You know, and then I keep it moving. So I don't have to like type everything in. But anyway, so we would voice message back and forth, and it was great because he's so Scottish. Like, his voice is crazy, right? His accent is crazy. So I'll be late at night, like high as shit, like, yo, dude, this guy's from Scotland, right? Like, bugging out. But anyway, so he actually put me on. He worked for BeatSource, and he's like, yo, you know, and I can't do his accent, so I'm not going to try. But, like, he said, yo, you should check out Nick for Wedding Crates because he already, you know, he preaches about this sort of thing on his YouTube channel. And then I got in touch with the BeatSource people, and I kind of pitched it to them, you know, saying, you know, what my ideas were and everything, because I had ideas like this for a long time, ever since like streaming and all this stuff, and even record pools in general came out. I always thought that, you know, all the big DJ companies, all the big ones, you know, they all seemed forever to kind of, you know, leave the wedding DJ out. You know, they didn't focus their market. It was all on club DJs and every other DJ. Like, there was nothing really built or made like for wedding DJs, you know? And I'm like, you guys are missing a huge market, like a huge, like, who knows how many, there's probably more wedding DJs than club DJs for sure. More private event DJs than 100%. Club DJs for sure. Not to mention, a lot of us have disposable income. I'm like, you guys are missing the biggest market, and I'm telling you, and then so I, you know, so then they brought me on as a curator about 6 months ago or something like that. Well, maybe not, maybe 4 months. I think it was like November. I think end of October, November, and then and then I've been working on all these playlists ever since. You know, it's been a lot of you know, a lot of behind the scenes work, and So. Right.
Now, and I haven't looked at the playlist yet though. Is there a lot of like "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough" Michael Jackson stuff like that?
Nah. So, well, you know, that stuff's in there. I have a playlist in there that's called Wedding Staples. So that's gonna have all your really basic shit, right?
Okay.
When you think of like whatever, that's literally has that. I even have a wedding line dance playlist because, you know, I did it for the people because, you know.
Yeah. Hold on. So let's talk about that for a minute. Because. Let's talk about your line dancing. The fact that you said not to do any line dances whatsoever ever again. You still believe that?
I mean, unless they request it. You know, I mean, listen, if I had to play the wobble 2 weeks ago because she's like, you got to do it. My mom loves it for no matter what. You got to promise me you'll play the wobble. All right, I'll play it. All right, I'll hide behind my facade, but I'll fucking play it. I got you.
Yeah. That's actually, that's funny because that's one of those things, especially if I'm doing a one man. I mean, if I'm doing like a 2-man where it's me, I'm the DJ, and I have an MC, like, I don't really care what I play if you're the one out there showing the people how to do it. But if you want me as a one man to play the song and then step in front and show you, all bets are off. I'm like, you better find somebody that knows how to do it.
See, the funny thing is like I used to do that all the time. You know, that's how I came up. I came up as a wedding DJ. I was teaching line dances, and actually further than line dances, I had gimmicks to certain songs. I had a whole routine. Yeah, I had a whole routine to get down tonight, blame it on the boogie. Like, I learned how to do all that stuff. Yeah.
But, yeah,
we all know that. You know what time it is. So I had all that shit. Like, I learned all that and perfected all that shit before I even learned how to mix two songs together. I just figured because like who taught me didn't do that. So like I figured out mixing like later on, you know what I mean? And eventually, so that's the difference with me. Like, a lot of people who hate line dances, I feel like they preach that like, you know, yeah, line dances suck just because like they think they're not cool and they never did them. I used to do them all the time. I was the most interactive DJ you would ever see in your life. Like, I swear, for years. And I evolved and I have strong reasons why I did, you know, and it helped and it worked, you know what I mean? And that's why kind of how I preach it. So I take it from a different perspective, you know what I mean? Like, I was there.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, we all look, I mean, you when you work for kind of major companies, like when I first started, I worked for a interactive DJ company out in LA, and that's kind of where I learned the whole you know, bar mitzvah shtick, and you know, everybody do this and follow me and follow that and all these things. So it becomes kind of a staple, and people come to expect it. Now,
And it worked back then.
It worked back then.
I mean, it was just different. It was just different. Like that, this shit went off. It wasn't like we were like people thought we were cheesy. Like people were eating it up.
It was a spectacle. Like back in I want to say, because I started doing it in like '98, and so from like '98 to 2000, I started my company 13 years ago. So so that would have been about 2008. So I'd worked for this company from 98 to like 2007. And that's all we had. And it was worse than that. Like we had the dances and the moves, but then we also had the change of outfits. Did you have to do that too? Like we're doing a Latin vibe, and we get in fucking like maracas and all these vests, and it was all about the vests. The vests were the thing.
Props, but yeah.
Yeah, you know how to get, we're doing a Michael Jackson medley, put the fucking white glove on. Let's go. Like just dumb shit. Just dumb. But it got to a point, and I remember this, and I think it was right around like 2005 or 6, where we were like all the MCs and dancers were like, people aren't responding to all this gimmicky stuff anymore. Like it's not working as well. Like people kind of know it. They've seen it. Everybody's doing it. So it's no longer fresh. It's just a thing that you do now. And, they fought it tooth and nail until when I left, it was like, when I started my company, it was like, okay, what are we going to do different? No more cheesy shit. The first thing, no more cheesy.
I think the problem is a lot of people confuse the difference with something where like, you can play a line dance to this day and it will work, right? It will work. Some people will come out, some people will do the dance, but it doesn't have the same spark that it did when years ago when we used to do all the shtick. It's like that whole spark is gone. And at the same time, every time you play a line dance, every time you put yourself out there and you do that on your own, like unwarranted, like no one asked you to do it, no one requested it, you're just like, how can I not play the electric slide at a wedding? Or how can I not Cupid shuffle, right? If you're one of those people, every single time you do that, you are turning off at least one person in the room. It could be a server. It could be the banquet manager, like a staff. It could be a guest. It could be who you're turning someone off, and you are putting yourself in that cheesy wedding DJ box, and that will only hurt you. And that's where I came to realize. I'm starting to realize that now with Shout and like Uptown Funk and all those, even Crazy in Love. So it's losing its spark. Like I play it and it works, but it's just not the same. And it's like it's starting. Like I got to retire some shit.
So and that 100% is what a lot of DJs need to understand. And when we first started the company, it was like, okay, what songs are we not playing anymore? And it's like, okay, we're not doing Celebration. We're not doing We Are Family. We are not doing Twist and Shout. We are not doing, what was it? There was a big one that I had said, we're not doing YMCA. And I remember people going, what do you mean? What? These songs are amazing. How can you not play them? And I say the same thing every time. I'm like, look, there's no doubting that they don't work. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that in the same genre, there are alternatives that will work just as well. That's it. If I can get the same impact, the same results by playing something different than what you're used to, then we're all winning because it feels new.
Well, and you also have to realize that, like, what you play as a DJ, like us as DJs, it's probably the biggest part of our brand is what we play. Like, not our logo,
your
not
style.
like how we dress, like what we play and how we play, like how we DJ and the actual content of what we do at weddings. That's the biggest part of your brand. You can't have, if you have 5 brides, or you have one bride that went to 5 different weddings, right? 5 of her friend weddings, and every single wedding, the DJ played Uptown Funk, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Celebration, right? They played the basic playlist, so it was all the same. So she saw the same shit at every wedding, 5 weddings, 5 different DJs. Well, of course, when she goes to get married and she's going to look at to get a DJ, she's going to price shop because to her, every fucking DJ is the same. They all play the same shit anyway, so they're going to haggle. She's going to try and get it as cheap as possible.
I can go get it from DJ Schmo over here, and he's cheaper than you. So
they're all the same.
So we'll keep continuing this, but I need to make a couple of shout outs. DJ TLM with the raid. Thank you so much, fam, for the raid. Appreciate you. We have DJ Nick Spinelli, Beat Source's own DJ Nick Spinelli in the crew. I see Mojax in the chat. Thank you for hanging out. And I see DJ Scene talking trash. Welcome, fam. Welcome.
Just shouts to see.
Yeah. So no, but I think you're right. And DJ Scene said, why are all these rules? And and by the way, Audio One too. Can't forget about Audio One. Why all these rules? They're not rules. Because you, as a DJ, are entitled to do whatever you want.
That's right.
Because I know a lot of DJs will be like, well, I know this song is cheesy, but not the way I play it. You know what I mean? That type of thing. And it's like, yeah, maybe, but the result is, and look, I
No,
think
that's
we have
possible too. I
Yeah.
mean, listen, I think YMCA is a banger, and I have 10 different ways to get in it, and I will still play that song. I just think that
I
song
ain't playing that shit.
fucking moves me.
I'm
you
not
know?
playing that. That's just, but everybody's got their song that's like, you know what? I know it's
Yeah.
cheesy, but I love it. And I appreciate that.
Something about the horns.
Right. Exactly. But I will say that, we just have to be, you have to be smarter about what you do. And you mentioned weddings. And I think this is a perfect example because I am like the polar opposite. For when you do weddings, what is the percentage that you feel you do a wedding and then that wedding translates into 10 more weddings?
10?
I'm ballparking. I'm just throwing stuff out here. Like you do a wedding and then 3 people from that wedding book you for their wedding a year or 2, 3 years from now.
I don't keep track of that sort of
Yeah.
thing, but I would say that every good wedding it happens at.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I don't know. You run into a bad crowd every once in a while, but no, it does happen often. Yeah, I get it. I hand out a lot of cards often. I think there's a lot of, there's a lot of reasons for that, I guess.
Well, the reason why I'm saying this is because I do weddings, but my bread and butter is bar and bat mitzvahs. So.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
Touch a mitzvah.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. If I play a bar mitzvah, because the bar mitzvahs flow with the school season. August comes around, September, everybody's booking their bar mitzvahs. So that's when we work from mid-August till June. And then July, early August, we're dead. There's just no parties. So we have to do weddings and things like that. But if I do a bar mitzvah in August or in September, these are new people, I am guaranteed, if I do a good job, that the people that were at that party, I am going to do their party 3 to 6 months later. And I think that's one of the things that people need to understand. A lot of times you can do an event and you can play as cheesy as you want because there's no impact. You do this one party, and then if you get another wedding, it's from somebody completely different that maybe you were referred to from a couple of years ago. They're asking their friends, hey, who did you use as your DJ? Your DJ was great 4 years ago. Is he still around? Yeah, give him a call. We have a direct impact. So if I do a party and then we've done parties where the same crowd was with us for 7 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Same crowd.
But see, when you're doing a mitzvah, though, it's all 13-year-olds or about to turn 13-year-olds.
Yes.
So it's like basically doing a wedding where the whole crowd is nothing but engaged couples.
Right. Very true. Very true. Yeah, but you still have the adults too, and you have to deal with all that stuff. I guess what I'm saying is that if I were to continue to play the same stuff
you wouldn't be getting those. Yeah,
people would be like, "Oh my God, I already heard this 2 weeks ago." So we're always having to change up. There's nothing better. This is God honest truth. There's nothing better than walking to a spot where nobody knows what you do, and you're free to do whatever you want. Yeah. And then you can go
Blank
YMC,
slate.
you can go cheesy, you can do all those things if you want to. But we as DJs that have been doing it for this long, I think it's also hard for us to appreciate some of the older stuff because for us it's like, oh, I'm sick of playing this track, even though it might still work. I'm playing devil's advocate here. You can be too cool for yourself.
Sure. But also, you got to look at it I think the biggest reason, is more selfish as far as for me playing different stuff and trying to constantly reinvent my wedding sets and just when I DJ in general. Because think about the true joy you get from DJing. Where does that come from, right? Where does the true where what truly tickles your pickle as a DJ? For me, What really, really, really tickles my pickle is when I play, I think of a new song, a new set, a new way to mix, you know, and I do it and it works and it translates to the dance floor. Or I found this song I forgot about and I dropped it that night. I'm like, this will work, and I dropped it and it works, and I haven't heard it in a while, and people, you get that new ooh, oh, right?
Yeah.
Or a new song came out and you drop it. Like when you play the same shit over and over again, we've all heard "Yeah" by Usher 10 billion times. Now it may work. Let's say it works great, and you get the ooh from the dance floor. It's just like I've heard it so many times. It's not the same. It doesn't tickle my pickle. You know what I mean? Like I think true joy out of loving what you do comes from like variety and you know, like and all that. So like, you know, any DJs that are getting burnt out, like 9 times out of 10, they just play the same shit. They do the same thing. It's like clocking in 9 to 5. You know what I mean? Like if you freshen up your sets and you're always like digging and looking to play different stuff, like you're gonna thoroughly enjoy DJing like the way it should be enjoyed, you know?
Right. And I want to bring up Philip Tahn, because I think what you're talking about kind of describes it a little bit. And he says, what kind of audience is easier to work with? The audience that's heard you multiple times, or the audience that's hearing you for the first time? And I will give my opinion, and then please, I want you to give yours. In my opinion, typically the most energy you're going to get is when you play something new for somebody the first time, maybe you introduce one of your routines or your mixes, and then they react like, oh my God, this is so dope, versus I can't play this routine again, or I've played it and they've heard it, so I gotta flip it up. So new is always better. You know, it's like new car smell. It's like, you know, new sex. I mean, it's always the new is always better than, oh, I've seen you 5 times. I know you're dope, but I've seen you 5 times. You know what I mean? But
that's assuming that it depends on the situation, because you're assuming that like you know the crowd's gonna rock to this, like, you know, like to
right.
me, I think it would be easier to work with a crowd that I've played for a couple times, because at this point I know what they like, I know what they don't like, and I can even prepare and plan even more and like dive even deeper and literally like, you know, be in their psyche with some of the shit I play, because I've already seen what they reacted to. I've already done my homework. Whereas like if it's a brand new crowd, I gotta baby steps. I gotta figure, you like this? All right, go fuck yourself. All right, you like this? Oh, you like this? All right, I'm gonna do more of this. Like this literally what goes through my head as I'm DJing.
Yeah,
I'm literally cursing everybody out. Oh, you don't like this? It's a fucking hit. Fuck you. All right, fuck it. And I keep, you know what I mean? Like literally. So to me, like I'd rather have, I don't know, you know, a crowd I know.
It's one thing to know the vibe. You know, okay, I know that this party crowd likes this kind of vibe. It makes your work easier as far as you don't have to fight with the crowd. I agree 100%. You know, but again, I'm coming from a completely different perspective, because like I kid you not. We call them circuits. Like there aren't really wedding circuits, but there are bar mitzvah circuits, and the bar mitzvah circuits will hire like 4 DJs within the circuit. So we're seeing these adults and these kids every single week. And it'll be something like where half the kids are at one party and half the kids are another party, but we're DJing both parties. Like it's insane. Like when I actually think about it, it's insane.
I don't know how you do it. I did one mitzvah, but I didn't do it. I was like the assistant. The whole room smelled like armpits, because half these kids don't know how to use deodorant. They were little assholes that come up. Yo, play this now. You're like, you're my bitch.
Yes,
like literally like, I don't know, man. Like, and you got to be on the mic. Like I was just watching this MC, like literally losing his voice. You got to just MC. So I can't. And I don't like kids. I don't
like kids either.
I'm not a kid guy. Like I tops off to you. And that's why mitzvah DJs, you guys make loot. Like you guys, I don't know if you guys aren't aware, whoever's watching, like mitzvahs, you literally charge double what a wedding DJ charges.
Yeah,
like
right.
But with good reason.
Yeah, and it's not even because like this is a perfect example, and we'll transition into this right after this. But when quarantine hit, first off, you know, everybody was canceling and all that stuff. But then when quarantine started to ease up a little bit, and I know you're in like a different world where people are like, fuck it, let's go anyway. But in California, they're like, no, we can't do anything. And I don't believe it was because they didn't want to do it. It's all about perception. And California is a real perception-based area. Like you can't do anything to make people put you in doubt. So we started doing these events where, you know, they were outside. It was smaller events, and you know, the same people that would normally book large packages were like, well, we only need this much. We don't need that much. So the packages started to change. Then Now we're getting out of it, and it's like, nope, those packages are gone. We're back to normal because we can't do a party at the way you expect it with just a one man and an MC. It's too hard with the amount of, I mean, because you're doing, like, my party's 250, 300 people, 100.
It's almost like don't even offer it. Like,
yeah, so we don't on our normal things. But when we were getting out of quarantine, people were like, these packages are kind of big. And I'm like, hold on, let me pull up and no lie, hold on, let me send you my wedding brochure. Because that wedding brochure doesn't have all the extra bells and whistles, because weddings, and let me ask you, do you believe, I think I know the answer, wedding clients devalue the DJ? Why is that, in your opinion?
Well, part of the reason is what they play. If they've seen, if a large majority, I don't know exact percentages, but like I would say more DJs than not play the exact same playlist at weddings. So like when you see the same shit, like I was saying earlier, at every wedding, then they devalue the DJ. It's like, well, all these wedding DJs do the same shit, so let me see if I can get the best deal possible. It's until a couple who's getting married, who's engaged, will devalue the wedding DJ until they see some type of DJ. Sometimes it's even a club DJ. Sometimes it's like a mix online, but they see something, some type of DJ do something where it's like, whoa,
yeah,
that's cool. I want that, like at my wedding. And then all of a sudden it opens up a Pandora's box for them. And I've talked to couples, and they literally, then they'll do research, and then like, all right, well, this guy's legit, let me look him up. Okay, this is cool. And then is there more DJs like this? And then that's when they start digging, and then they find differences. You gotta, like, it's that perceived value.
Now I will say this, and I agree with you. Two things. One, I think it's interesting that DJs with their perceived value are different than a band who's going to play the same thing because they're a band and they have their repertoire, and maybe they will learn 3 or 4 new songs for you, but the band's going to play their thing, and they can charge, 5 times as much, and people are okay with spending that money. You would never see a person going to a band and saying, oh, you know what? No, this band does it too. You're like, no, we're a premium band. This is what it costs. So I've always found that interesting.
Well, so one caveat to that, though, you got to realize when before DJs were around, there was good bands and shitty bands, right?
Yeah.
Just like DJs. There's good DJs, shitty DJs, right? There's good bands and shitty bands. But when DJs came out and DJs, started becoming a thing because for whatever reason, a mobile DJ became a thing because of technology or whatever, well, they replaced shitty bands. Now they literally put shitty bands out of business because, well, why get a shitty band for $600 when we can get a DJ to play the actual music? You know what I mean? So then only the good bands like survived, so that's why all the bands are really a lot of money, because like there's literally no room in the wedding space for a shitty band. Like, why would you get a shitty band just for the live music aspect when you could just get a DJ for the same price, a good DJ for the same price?
Yeah, very, very, very true. I will say this, though, because we mentioned people might see a DJ mix online and, oh, that's great. Let me book him. I have a slight issue because I've run into this where somebody will find a DJ online, because we get this all the time. Like some clients booking the bar mitzvah, they're like, hey, we love everything you're doing, but we don't want your DJ. Oh, really? Why don't you want my DJ? Because we have this club DJ that's going to spend the whole time, and so we want him. We want everything else about you, but just not your club DJ. And I'm just sitting there going,
is this for mitzvahs or weddings?
This is for mitzvahs. But I'm gonna but I'm gonna translate that into weddings too, because and again, I guess it depends on if you are a one man, like you're just a DJ and an MC at the same time doing the wedding alone, or if you actually have an MC. Because I feel that sometimes people book things because the DJ is great, and the DJ might be great, but they don't know how to MC a wedding. They don't know how to introduce a bride and groom. They don't know all the little things that are required. And I think sometimes it can get people into hot water, and especially for bar mitzvahs. Like, there's so many little nuances that you have to know that you can't just be like, oh, I'm a club DJ. Because we hire club DJs, and then we have to retrain club DJs. Because club DJs come in and like, oh yeah, and like, nope, these kids are going to murder you. That you can't do the things you do at the club here, So,
yeah.
What's your...
I mean, so mitzvahs are just different, man, because like weddings, I see what you're saying with mitzvahs. Obviously, I could never dive in and do a mitzvah. I'll never do it, and I couldn't do it. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And yeah, you're right. There's plenty of people that are great DJs, but like, aren't great MCs and all that. But the only argument to that is, weddings are evolving. Traditions are dying, right? The only thing that keeps a tradition alive is an old person. And as the old people aren't around no more, those traditions go with it, okay? For example, right, bouquet garter rarely ever happens at a wedding anymore. Very, very rarely, at least where I'm at.
Right. No, you're right.
Dollar dance, right? Cake cutting is happening privately all the time.
Yeah, off to the side.
Off to the side. Couples are doing no introductions, just them, or all girls, all guys at once. Just shortening everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Every song is getting shortened. Everything's just becoming. Formalities are just shrinking by the day.
I agree.
At weddings, and I think this is changing the industry and will change the industry because as all the formalities shrink and as couples literally don't give a fuck about a formality because, nobody else, no one in her family, there's no pressure. It's like, we don't have to do it. We do whatever we want, right? Well, now you can go get yourself a club DJ. No, he's going to rock a dance floor and throw you a great party. And no, don't worry about all the MC stuff. Like, introduce us and play our first dance.
Cousin Bob will do all the work.
That's it. They can even, as long as you can say, oh, all right, let's hear for a couple. And then they come in and do a dance. That's all they want. They'd rather have great music. So, like, I think because all the formalities are going away, this is creating a big opportunity, and we're going to have a flood of all these club DJs coming into the wedding market because it's just easier for them to enter. They realize that they can still be dope and scratch and mix, and the crowd will respond to that. Like, and the money involved. And since the quarantine, how many people are getting back to clubs? Almost every club has gone out. You know what I mean? So, like, the club DJs, if you're just a club DJ, you're struggling the hardest right now as all the wedding DJs are back to work because we had all the postponements. So, like, I think there's going to be a flood of club guys getting into weddings, and I'm actually happy about it. I'm very happy about it.
Well, I think at a minimum, it will up the it'll weed out the bad DJs. I think that's the key. Yeah, no, I agree.
What happens when that happens, right?
Yeah,
the prices go up. All of a sudden, now when we're all good, our average price doubles in 2 years. All of a sudden, not.com/wedding DJ prices says $2,500 average per wedding. When right now it says $1,200.
Yeah, and for I don't know for a one man, was that $1,200 just for a one man?
It just says, in general, the average couple in the United States, based on their polling, spends $1,200 on their wedding entertainment for a DJ, not a band.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. No, that actually makes sense. Mojax has a question for both of us. He says,
up, Mojax?
Has your YouTube and social media presence helped get you any mobile bookings, or is it a completely different world?
No, 100%. It's everything. It's only, when you get into like the higher end market, right?
Yes.
Like, more affluent people getting married, all that. Affluent people, right? When they're planning their wedding, when they do anything in life, right? When they spend money, to flex, right? When they buy that nice car, it's to flex. Why do they have a Louis Vuitton bag? To flex. It's the same exact thing when they're hiring a DJ, right? When they're not going to get, if you're an affluent person and you're bougie, right? Not every affluent person is bougie, but like if you're a bougie person, let's say, right? You're not going to get a regular DJ. That's not a flex. There's nothing you're going to hire a DJ that you can like tell your friends, hey, look, I got this guy. I got Cleveland Terry. And look, he's got mad subs on YouTube and he crushes it online. Like, I got Cleveland Terry for my wedding. Like, look at his videos. He's crushing it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you want something, you want something to brag about. And that's like such a major key. So, like, not that I'm like, whatever. Like, I just, having a social media presence helps with that. Doing a cool little routine, like I did this routine with Golden Girls like 2 years ago, and it sucks, and I want to delete the video everywhere and redo it because like I fucked up every cut on it. But regardless, that little routine, I can't tell you how many couples requested me. I did it at their wedding, and and that's what they pointed at. That's the video they sent their friends. One of the videos, hey, look, my DJ does this, and I'm excited to have. You know what I mean? Like,
he's a
very big part of it.
DJ.
Yeah, like he uses vinyl for no reason. Like I thought vinyl was out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I've only had it happen maybe twice. But then again, I don't do a lot of routines on my YouTube, to be honest with you, which I actually know I need to do.
Same here. I need to do more. I haven't done one in a while.
Yeah. I think about doing them, and then I look at Carlo, and I'm just like, fucking Carlo, man. Antonita.
He's an animal. I want to talk to that guy. He's the king of DJ YouTubers. He's it.
I know.
I don't know anybody bigger than him.
Yeah. I tried. Trust me. I think I have him. I think I have one more ask, and he has to say yes because after I got what's his face? D'Angelo. DJ Angelo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did brown sugar and everything. No, after I got him on, then Angelo texted him. So I think I'm gonna have him on soon.
What do you do? Slide in DMs? Like
slide into DMs. DMs are the easiest. Sometimes it's because emails don't necessarily work.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is ask. And they may say yes, they may say no. And move from there. But I have gotten people that have called, and it's always weird to me when they're like, are you Cliv and Terry from YouTube? And I'm like, yeah. Can you DJ my wedding? And I'm just like, for a minute I was like, that's weird. This is a weird feeling. Like,
yeah,
but I think the more you do, because there's one thing for me to talk about gear and to talk and review stuff and the top things that DJs need, blah blah blah. That's all the stuff that DJs search for. That's not stuff that wedding people search for.
But it depends. There's certain topics
100%. I agree.
Like the no line dancing thing, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I screamed that from the mountaintop in multiple videos. Well, brides have found that video, and literally hired me because they knew ahead of time that I wasn't about that. And they're like, yeah, we love the video, we love your opinions. Even though I'm making content for DJs, they still watch it and agree or disagree with my opinions. And on top of that, they kind of inadvertently look at you like, all right, well, he's making videos and people are watching him, so how bad could he be? He can't suck. He must be okay. You know what I mean? And then that helps as well,
I know some YouTubers that aren't that good at DJing. I'm not going to say any names, but they do exist in the market.
I think it's important though to be able to throw down as well, and who's who. And I do value, like, I always practice. I always try and get better. I really do. I don't want to be I don't want to be up here and try and tell people my opinions and whatever, have this YouTube channel and not actually be able to throw
do
it
as I say, not as I do.
That's
exactly
what I mean, man. I think that's so important.
Yeah, no, and I think it adds to credibility. Like, I remember the first time, and I don't know if TLM's still in the building, but I remember the first time I did some review on something, and somebody said, well, I hear what you're saying, but how can I really take you seriously? Because you don't show DJing like DJ TLM does. TLM, shows us all this stuff. And I'm like, what does that have to do with me reviewing a piece of hardware? But I understood what he was saying. Like, how can I talk about how good a piece of hardware is if I don't know what is good, because I'm not a real DJ? So I can appreciate what he was saying. I mean, it's bull, it's BS, but still, I got it. And as soon as I started to DJ more and to just show people, oh wow, you actually can DJ, it definitely upped my credibility. 100%.
That's what Twitch was this whole quarantine. It was exposing who was good, who was bad, or just by the simple fact that if you're one of the DJs that just never went on Twitch, nobody knows, and now assumptions can be made either way. You know what I mean? It really did change a lot. I don't know. Right. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Sorry, Mojack said, better not be talking about me. No, true words have. Mojack's DJ is a dope DJ. People get on and they watch his progress and like, okay, he does trance or EDM or whatever you want to call it.
Hey, Mojack throws down. I've listened to his sets before.
Yeah, but he's not. The most important part of Mojack says he's well versed in all types of styles. He might default to progress because it's what he likes, but he can play anything, and he does it well. And his progress, listen to his transitions or lack thereof, because it doesn't seem like he's changing songs at all for 2 hours straight. He's smooth. So
he can use that. Mojax uses that. What's that? 38 channel Pioneer mixer.
Oh, yeah, the V10.
dude, it's like 8 feet wide. Like, how do you even how long are your arms? You got to have a certain reach. I don't know.
Oh man, and TLM is still in the building. Yeah. So yeah. TLM, you're the reason. Yeah, you're the reason that I have to show people that I DJ more because of you. So thanks for that.
TLM's OG, man. He was at sorry, I hit my light thing. TLM was on YouTube. Like when I first started my channel and I was looking up like, all right, what videos are out there? Like he was the top video that popped up on wedding DJ tips. I'm like, all right, I gotta be above TLM's video. That's my first goal. When you search wedding DJ tips, I'm gonna be above TLM one day. And because you started like what, 2011, 2012, back in the day. Early YouTube.
Yeah, he was early. Yeah, I remember how often I would refer to his videos when I started to make mine. Like, okay, how do I want to be? And TLM was probably the number one influence for me. Like, okay, I see what he's doing because Mojax is Mojax. Hello, like he's on a different level.
But he does it cinematically too. I want to know. I would love to know if he. Do you know if he films everything and edits everything himself? Like,
yes,
he
does
the whole thing.
All of it.
So all right. So the dude is literally a cinematographer. With an English accent. I mean, how the fuck do you compete with that? You know what I mean? Because he does these. His B-roll is ridiculous. It's just obnoxious. I don't know. I have no clue how to shoot B-roll like that, or even close. Like, ugh.
Yeah. Agreed. I see a couple people in the chat saying that you get paid better in the private world, in the private DJ world, versus the clubs. And then some people are like, "Well, it depends on what you are."
Yeah, depends who you are.
Yeah, I'm gonna nip this in the bud right now. The average club DJ doesn't get paid as much as a private DJ will get by default.
Correct.
That's it. Bottom line, if you're somebody huge and you're getting paid, $500 to $1,000 to do a gig, we're not talking about you. We're talking about the guy that, hey, come do my spot. I need you to do it for an hour or so, and you get your paid your $150 to $200, which is like, I believe that's like the average for that. But I hire a lot of club DJs. Because I'm a multi-op, and I hire them because a lot of them, either they want more money because we pay more money for our DJs off the bat, and they're just getting a little tired of the club scene, because it's a natural transition for DJs.
What do you mean? A natural transition to go from a club to a bar mitzvah?
No,
they're tired of a club, so they're going to go with
not a bar mitzvah, a private event.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, because I think it's just a natural transition. Once you get to a certain age and you don't want to do clubs anymore. There's a lot of work. There's long hours, which is kind of ironic because for like private events, there's still long hours. There's longer hours for private events than there are for club events, and you are responsible for more.
Yeah.
Right, you get home earlier, but you have to be there earlier. So a lot of things like most people. I don't know if you guys are club DJs or not out there, but it's an 8-hour day. When you're doing a private event, minimum 8-hour day. Let's say what do we got here? So let's say the party goes from 7 to 12. That's your standard party, 7 to 12, 6 to 11. The wedding itself might take place at 4:30. That'll be the call. 4:30 for the call or the bar mitzvah service or whatever. So before 4:30, especially if you're doing ceremony sound, you have to be there an additional 2 hours before that. So now what are we talking about? 2:30 you have to be there. So we're over 9.5 hours right there, and that's just your day. There is a lot of work, and that's one of the things I will say about club DJs. You can just walk into a club, 30 minutes before your set, click on, do your hour or 2 hours, and then go home. Like that's amazing. You don't have to bring your own gear a lot of times. Like, that's great, but that's why you get paid less too.
I think it's one of those things too. It's like, at least for me, like, if I did all clubs or if I just did all weddings, one or the other, you just kind of get tired of it. It's like variety, you know what I mean? Like pick the one, doing a little bit of each is like kind of cool. It's kind of like, all right, I get to do a club and play curse words tonight, and then tomorrow I'm doing Sam and Susie's wedding,
Now, so this is a question then. How many people, how many clients, or let me back up, not clients, because I know clients typically don't care. How often do you play Profanity on your parties?
At weddings?
Yeah.
50%, maybe 60%, something like that.
Really? That's pretty high.
Yeah, I mean, I don't drop like crazy shit in the beginning, but like, you know, generally speaking, I used to know not never, but like only by request. But like now I just been kind of squeezing it in. I mean, you know, the most, if it's an all adult party, you know, and it's like last hour and like some songs just don't sound the same. I'm just on that boat. Like some songs you play it clean, it just sounds stupid. So it's just like, they're all adults and they're drunk and, you know, I don't know. And I think that's something we're going to move to in weddings. Like that was forbidden years ago and probably still is in some areas. If you live in like the Bible Belt or something, I'm sure you don't, you know, you get kicked out of the venue if you played a curse word. So I get it. All right. Cause like, that's the first thing I get. Oh, what are you crazy? That's irreprehensible. You don't play curse. But like, you know, it's an all adult crowd, you know, they're all adults. This same crowd could be at a club. They don't get offended there. You know what I mean? I won't play like, you know, like WAP, you know, in general, just because that's just a weird, you know, it's nasty. Even the clean is like wet and gushy. It just grosses me out. It's got like, you know, it's got pedo vibe or like some type of, you know, it's a sexual harassment lawsuit. Like I feel like someone can like sue me just for playing it. So I don't even want to, you know, but like, but generally speaking, no, I don't, you know, it's been more often than not.
That's interesting. Yeah, I have made it a point to not play dirty music, at all. Now, like I did an event over the weekend, and it was for, you know, kind of a high end actor.
What if they requested it though?
If they request it, different. But okay. But okay, let me back up. If they request it, and I know that it's all adults, sure, I'm fine. But if like, there may be some teens, some young people. You know, it's a wedding. You're going to get some kids at weddings too. I'm less likely to do that. Now I know that it doesn't matter as much because you're dealing with the majority of adults. But
I tend to just got them at a wedding, and they're up that late. Chances are the parents say those words at home. They already watched, you know, Pulp Fiction 3 times, you know. You're not protecting them kids, you know. Fuck that. I'm playing it. Okay. If you want it.
Fair enough. Yeah, like I just once I got into my head, you know, no dirty music. I just kind of do it now just because it's just natural when I'm at a private event to play it. Sometimes if I'm playing at a club, I'll end up playing the clean version on accident. Like, oh shit, that's right. I'm just so used to playing this version. This version has my cue points already assigned to it, so it makes it easier. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. I have to think about more about playing the dirty version versus playing the clean, I guess, because I'm so used to it. People in the chat, let me know in the chat. Do you guys play dirty versions of music on your private events? Let me know in the chat. Now, I will say that Mojax had mentioned that the best money is in corporate, and he's 100% right. Corporate money, not only is it typically easier because they always bring in the best lighting, AV people in the world. You just have to plug in. They ask you for your writer. Like, it's great, and they pay well. But not only do they pay well, they like force you to accept more money pay well.
Because they have budgets. They just have
budgets.
It ain't their money.
Exactly.
It's always better when you got a customer that's not even paying with their own money.
Right. How much you charge?
Shit.
That seems fine. That's okay.
Keep the change.
Right. Exactly. So, do you do a lot of corporate events?
I don't. I wish I did. I've done a handful of them. I know, Jeff.
Is it because Jason Jeni does all the corporate events?
I mean, yeah, Jason does a lot. Jeff does a lot. They already have like pre-existing relationships with like a lot of like companies and whatnot, and they want them back every time. So I never really built. I do. What do? I do one Christmas party every year. For oh my god, it's been 2 years now because like they didn't have it last year. What's the company called? They make they make software for like governors or something, and it's always an AC, but it's a smaller company, so they usually rent out like a suite in AC, and I just set up a small setup and just like play vibes for them. So that's kind of cool, I guess. But that's about it. I don't do shit corporately. I don't have any. One day I'm down, Yeah. A lot of money in it for sure.
There is a shit ton of money in corporate. Like I have never once been told no to any budget I've ever said, to any bill. And like I said, I did one event. For Netflix, and I got it through a party planner because they were doing the whole thing, and I think the other person they were looking at was DJ Sofinam. So they called, And they're like, okay, what's your budget? So I started running the numbers, and I'm like, okay, how many? It's Netflix. It was like season 2 of Stranger Things. Okay, how many hours? It's like an all night thing. Okay, do the math. Okay, it's this much money. And I send it to the lady, and the lady goes, I'm not going to send this to Netflix. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, you need to raise this up by like $1,000. And it's like, why? Because the other person is coming in at that much, and they're going to look at you and say, you must not be as good. Just like that. Just
That
off
happens
of
with
numbers.
weddings sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
Some
yeah.
DJs price themselves out of weddings because of that, because they're trying to give a deal because they're just, whatever insecurity. They're just like, all right, well, we'll do it for this much. And then it's like, why?
Why do you want to do it for so cheap?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the time that a wedding party planner told us to raise our wedding rates, because it was always secondary for us. It was like, okay, we do bar mitzvahs, weddings, or whatever, and we had some bad experiences with wedding clients. Every time we would come in with our price, they're like, so-and-so is this much and you're a little higher. Can you come down to this price? And then after a while, you start to go, maybe we should just drop the price, because it seems like we are pricing ourselves out of the market.
Nope, you're in a no man's land. There's that famous no man's land where if you price yourself in the middle, you're too much for the people that want cheaper DJs, but you're too cheap for the higher end people. So they don't want to. So you're in the middle and you can't get no work. That's where you raise your price if you have the product.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it's funny. Now I know you do multi-op, but do you also do your own, or is it all through SCE?
So all weddings go through SCE. I'm exclusive to SCE, so that's it. But anything like clubs, stuff like that, I do outside. So they only private events go through SCE, but I only do weddings. If I do a Sweet 16, it's because somebody I have, but like I avoid that shit.
Right. So two things. Mr. Michias, and we'll talk about the co-op in a minute. It says always depends on the client paying me, and I would say you always want to come out with a number. If you drop a price because of discounts or for whatever reason, fine. That's a one-on-one with the client. But your pricing structure should always remain public, and whatever number you've established as the going rate across the board. So like I'll have clients that'll call me like, oh, you know what, you're too expensive for me. And I'll ask them flat out, first off, what are you looking for? Tell me about your event. And if they're like, okay, it's only like, 80 people, it's at this small venue. And then I'll tell them, because with bar mitzvahs, we have like MC, DJ, and a couple dancers, lots of sound, lots of lighting. I'll say, look, okay, if that's the case, then let's knock off a dancer. Let's not lower our rate. Let's knock off something that you don't need, so we're all still in the clear. So if somebody says, well, you charge them for this, I can say, no, I charge them for this because I took off an extra dancer and all this lighting and all this stuff, so that's why it was cheaper. Not because I just dropped the price. So you have to be smart about that, because once people start realizing that you are dropping the price across the board all the time, your rate is no longer valid. It's gone. So you might as well just drop the rate, because nobody's going to pay you your full rate anymore. Especially for me, because my clientele, and Prion Joni says, is it true higher paying clients are easier to deal with?
They are.
Yes, 100%. I can't even explain the difference. Like a higher paying client will drop $5,000 to $6,000, and I won't talk to them till the day before the event.
And they rage.
Right.
Rich people, affluent people, they don't give a fuck. They're rich. They drove their Tesla on the way. They have a fucking maid taking care of their kids and cleaning their house.
Yep.
They don't give a fuck. They literally get wasted. It's fantastic. It's insane. When I went from doing regular average price weddings to doing more higher end stuff, it became so much easier. It's wow, you had to work for the other stuff.
Yeah.
It's insane.
The higher price ones are the ones that are play curse words.
Oh, yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. The cheaper ones I find, and I'll tell you guys a little thing. If a client comes from, because we have on our thing when you request a brochure, it asks, where'd you come from? If they come from Yelp, I automatically know they're going to be difficult to deal with. Automatically.
You're on Yelp?
Oh, God. You don't know the story. You don't know the Yelp story, why we're on Yelp. So I'll tell it real quick.
You're not on Thumbtack too, are you?
No. Just Yelp was a necessary evil, and I will explain to you right now for people that haven't heard this story. So it was like maybe 3 or 4 years into my company, being new. And a client called us, and it was in December, and they were doing a last minute bar mitzvah, like mid of January. This client calls, and she says, "Hey, we've talked to all of our friends. They say you guys are amazing. We want to book you. You guys are great, and we're going through fine. Blah blah blah. Yeah, we're available. I'm checking through all the stuff. We're continuing to talk. It's been like 5 minutes on the conversation. She's like, okay, I think we're gonna book you. Let us know what you need. What, honey?" And there's a dude talking in the background, right? I can't hear the dude.
Check his Yelp reviews. Make
what?
sure he's got good Yelp reviews.
No. What, honey? What? Bad Yelp review? Oh, really? Oh, really? Okay. Hey, we're gonna call you back, right? Yeah. So then nothing. Disappears. Okay. So then I'm like, bad Yelp review. I'm like, first off, I'm like, what the fuck is Yelp? Like, I don't know what it is, right? So I pull up Yelp and I'm like, we've never signed up for Yelp. Like, why are we even in this? I go on there. Sure enough, our business is sitting there, and we have 3 reviews because we never use it, and 2 are good and 1 is horrible. And I know the person that left it, this crazy, insane woman. And I was like, okay. So I said, after that, okay, guess what? I got to get all of my clients. Now, keep in mind, we're not SCE, but we do like 300 to 400 events a year. Like that's our average. So if you do that many events and you got 3 Yelp reviews, something is askew, So I went back, sent all of our clients an email like, hey guys, if you don't mind, if you can you just leave a review on Yelp? Like we do great parties. This was a one-off. It was an anomaly. So then they went in and then upped it. That's the only reason why I use Yelp. Yelp is a demon of a website. Yelp is designed to screw businesses. And this is one of those things that you got to understand if you're using Yelp. First off, Yelp is, for the majority, is a pay to play. You have to pay in order to get the algorithm, which is not really
salesman
algorithm.
that'll bother you.
Yes. So the moment the salesman will contact you, like, okay, whatever, we'll give it a try. You've now sold your soul to the devil because they will not stop. You then get flagged because if you stop paying, then all of a sudden everything starts going against you. Like, haven't you ever gone to a Yelp and you look at your review and right underneath it is like somebody else's DJ company? And they're like bigger than your own footprint on Yelp? It's because they paid. So they paid to get placed on your ads. Now, here's the biggest problem with Yelp, and then I'll move on. Yelp is not linear, okay? Yelp's algorithm for what people see is 100% random. So I can go onto a Yelp page and look at Nick Spinelli. And if I go on Tuesday, look at Nick Spinelli, I get, oh my God, this was the best DJ ever. I go on Wednesday, the worst review that happened 7 years ago is on front page. Why is that? That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Okay, I'm done. I've vented enough.
I wonder if I have a bad review on Yelp somewhere. Maybe you want to check.
So in my Yelp reviews for Check 1 2, we have 2 bad reviews. 2 bad reviews. One was from the crazy person. The second one was because the lady, we were having so many good reviews, and when the client was asking, her friends were asking her about us, and she didn't like the fact that we had so many good reviews on Yelp. So she went on Yelp to try to balance it out.
Sounds like one of my YouTube haters. Fucking,
they exist
get like
everywhere.
2 thumbs down a video.
Yeah. Well,
I want to know who those 2 fuckers are.
So I have been trying to find my 2 for forever. And
if anybody's heard anything,
yeah,
let us know.
It's not that it's even the 1 or the 2. It's the fact that like it's the one 20 seconds after I post a 10-minute video. Like that just enrages me.
Yeah, because they have notifications put on. Because they hit the bell just to hate on me. I'm like, you son of a bitch. I know you're out there somewhere, and I'm going to find out who you are. Like, literally. Like, they hit the bell to hate on you. Like, that's a whole nother level of hate. It brings me back to, like, the player haters ball. You remember hate. You don't remember Chappelle's show?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
where
yeah.
they had the player haters ball.
Oh, right.
And Buck Nasty. it's like one of those motherfuckers, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a learning experience. You know, and it's funny because like I kind of treat YouTube like the way Michael Jordan treated basketball. Like if somebody says something negative, like I keep it in the back of my head and I try to absorb like, okay, what did you mean when you said you're a dumb idiot?
You got to be a good perspective taker. Like,
Yes.
Where were they coming from?
Right, exactly. So I always do that, and sometimes I'll mention it on the show because this is a talk show, and I got to fill time. So sometimes I'll talk about things that happen, and people will be like, "Oh man, they're living rent free in your head. Don't let them do that to you." I'm like, no. I'm not mad. It's almost like a funny hate. Like, are you serious? Did you really just dislike my video after 4 minutes? Really?
You get content out of it. That's the best way to make lemonade out of lemons. You know,
Right.
you get content out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
I would rather have somebody just be like, I don't like you in the post. I am the one check. And I'd be like, hey man, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for the hate.
Seriously.
Instead
Same
of
here.
not doing anything, not saying anything, doing anything. So now, so you started your YouTube channel when? What would you say?
So I basically did 2 YouTube channels. So
Okay.
like back in so when I started working for SE in 2017, and like I it was like making it to like the MLB. You know, I'm like, oh my god, like I'm at SE, like holy shit. But then like, you know, after all the confetti, you know, stopped falling, I'm like, I got to book like events now, and I'm going up against like a squad that has so much content, so much shit out there, you know. And I had already been like really working hard the last like 2 years on my Instagram, you know, so I already been building that up. But like, you know, I'm like, what do I do? I don't have any like events yet. You got to book them ahead of time. Like, how do I start booking events? I'm like, all right, I got this fucking idea, and it's literally on video because Jan and I was vlogging at the time, and it's like one of those behind the scenes SE vlogs, and it's literally me walking to his office. I'm like 4,000 pounds heavier, and I'm like, listen, I just got done eating like a fucking Stromboli or some shit, and I'm like, listen, Jason, I got a great idea. I'm gonna make a DJ. I'm going to start doing DJ tips on YouTube. And I wanted to do it on the SCE YouTube because this is my thing. I'm like, all right, because I've always had strong opinions about, you know, weddings and everything. And I've been doing, I started doing weddings when I was 15. So like over half my life. So like, you know, I saw everything evolve and the line, all that stuff. I had strong opinions. So I was like, I'll make a couple YouTube videos that I think would be useful. But what I'm really doing is I'm putting it on the SCE YouTube page so that when clients go to like check me out, they'll see, oh wow, he's making tip videos. He can't, there's no way he could suck. And then it'll help me get booked. Like that was literally the reason why I started the YouTube page. You know what I mean? And you know, to help some people or whatever. But my goal was, I was like, I'm going to do 10 episodes. I'm going to leave them up there and then keep it moving.
Sure.
But then like, you know, and then it's just one thing, I caught the bug and, you know, got a decent response. And so I ended up doing like 30 something episodes on the SCE page of just tip videos. And then I'm like, well, fuck, you know, and then I built up the SCE page too. Like I was getting a good amount of views, like, you know, like, well, not crazy, but like, you know, I would get like 500, 800 per video ish.
Sure.
Some got over 1,000. I was like, oh my God. Right. And so I'm like, well, why don't I start my own page? But like, I'll keep the tip videos on the SC page, and then like I'll start my own fucking page and do vlog. I'm gonna start vlogging, right? And I was following like David Dobrik and all them. I'm like, I'm gonna start vlogging. So then I started doing vlogs, and I started my YouTube page now. I mean, if you look at the date, like I had the YouTube page since like the beginning of time, but I started posting. I started posting consistently. It was August of 2019 when I bought my G7X, my first like camera, because I was also using all SE camera stuff. I was borrowing their shit. Like this guy
nice.
Pags, who worked for us, he let me use his camera. I didn't even have my own stuff, you know. So August of 2019 is when I really started my actual YouTube page, and then I ended up just once the quarantine hit and I had nothing to vlog anymore, I just started doing tips on my page because, you know, what else I got to do? I'm sitting at the house bored, and then I just built it up from there. So like the short answer is August 2019. You know, I started my page. There you go. I had 82 subscribers at that time.
And what do you have now?
I just hit 9,000 today.
Nice.
Man,
Nice.
Almost
Yeah,
10, man.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
I find, in all honesty, though, I find that when you are polarizing, you tend to do better. And that's just the facts of the people are like, what? What did he say?
If it bleeds,
Follow.
it leads, right?
Exactly.
If it bleeds, it leads. Ask any major news source.
Yeah.
They do the same shit.
You're right. You're right. By the way, DJ Stress TV, that's Jetpack Bags. Welcome out, fam. Thanks for the 5-piece. Appreciate you. And also,
Holy shit. What's up,
I
man?
didn't mention DJ Queso. Subscribe for another for 5 months now. So thank you so much for that tier 1. Yeah, jetpack bags. Jetpack. Do you have a jetpack bag, Nick?
Oh, I have 2. I got one right here.
Okay, all right.
They sent me. Shout out to Jetpack. And then I also have, I got their big ass one right here. This is my wedding bag.
Yes.
So one's my wedding bag, one's my club bag. You know, so I
Gotcha.
have two different ones. I'm a big fan. I think they're the best book bags in the game. Like, no joke, they really are. Like, you know,
Yeah.
name a better bag. You know, that's not like $4 billion.
Yeah, I always say I need to keep my jetpack bag next to me so I can just pull it up. But like, I can literally look and see 4 bags on the floor. I don't know why my bags are just chilling on the floor. Maybe because I just grab a bag. Like, I have a bag for every type of thing.
Me
like,
too.
oh, I'm going to do this today. Let me bring my snap. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to need my bigger bag. And then I have the behemoth that I don't use as much anymore, but that used to be my all-knowing, hold everything bag. The one that you had right there. What is that? The Prime?
The Prime, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Prime. Yep.
Yep. So,
It's great.
Gotcha. Now, let me ask you this: what have you learned in the year that you've been doing YouTube, or year and a half? What have you learned, positive or negative, that you didn't know when you started?
That's a good question. I mean, other than like just basic stuff, just evolving. I learned. You know what YouTube really taught me? I'm the type of person that is not regimented in any way, shape, or form. I'm a fly-by-night guy, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a guy that I will buy a plane ticket to Vegas right now and leave tomorrow and just go out of nowhere. I'm spontaneous, like I'm just like a go, you know. But like there's no regimen for me. There's no routine for me. I've never had, other than brushing my teeth and washing my balls. I have no routines, right?
Okay.
YouTube taught me to be a little more regimented. It grounded me a little bit because YouTube is all about consistency. As you know, you have to be consistent. And I found as I'm studying my analytics, as you know, and I'm trying to figure out how to grow this or whatever, you know, the more consistent I was, you know, the better it became. So I had to, the only way for me to really consistently put out a lot of content is to literally dedicate, like Wednesday's my film day, Tuesday's my whatever. Like I had to dedicate days, schedule it, and stay regimented and make YouTube and producing content a part of my everyday life.
Yeah.
And that's what I do now. You know what I mean? Like I'm still like, you know, just all over the fucking place. But like when it comes to like YouTube and like obviously like, you know, weddings and my job and everything, I'm very, very like regimented and like, you know, in order.
Well, that's one of the reasons that I started the talk show, and I do stream it to YouTube because it just, YouTube can take over your life. You know, as far as taking the time to do videos, and especially when I was doing like 3 videos a week, like that's a lot of time. Like, you know, you got to work a lot. And, you know, I wanted, my minimum now is like, I need to get at least 1 out. I want to get 2 out a week and then the live stuff. But like, you know, I've been doing it for a while now. I'm a year and a half in. I mean, I know you were doing it for SCE, but like this is like my third year.
But I agree with that. That's kind of why I did it, you know, not like, you know, I dropped down to 1 produced video a week, which would probably be more with a lot of things because so much stuff with BeatSource too I want to make. But like,
sure.
But my idea was like, all right, I'll do a show, right? And I want to have some type of live place to just talk about whatever's going on, right? Talk about, you know, new equipment, an update, you know, a hater, you know, talk shit on something, whatever. Like I just wanted to have a live aspect, right? But then also I figured I'll do this whole live show and then I can also release it in highlights because how many people are actually going to watch the whole thing all the way through?
Exactly.
You know, you're not, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I released it as highlights. So now, like this past month, the last 28 days, you know how like YouTube says, I released 27 videos in the last 28 days, right?
Jesus.
And a lot of those are highlights, but people watch the highlights because like they didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I also export the audio and I posted it as a podcast. So I have it as a podcast and it is like clean. You know, so like I was able to post more videos, reach more ears, you know, with more avenues that way. But I still produce videos as well. So yeah, you know,
it's getting a little harder to produce videos just because we haven't really been out. Like a lot of times you'll do stuff and it'll trigger you as you're out DJing. Oh, I want to talk about this.
I want to talk about this.
Exactly. Yep. But now everything's a little different just because we're in this kind of limbo area. But I actually have 2 videos I need to shoot today because I have been dropping the ball on video content. Yeah, because the thing that people need to understand about YouTube, and I'm sure both TLM and Mojax will say, and even PJ, the power of YouTube isn't in the money. Because as a niche topic like DJing, we're never going to see tech money. Like an iPhone guy or a photography guy, they will get 1 million views and they will be able to live off of that money. Like we're not living off of YouTube.
Never say never, but it hasn't been done yet other than Carlo. Carlo definitely makes fucking money.
Carlo does well. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably the only one, and obviously D'Angelo, but he's completely different. He's teaching, and when you're teaching, it's a whole nother realm. But like it's not the money that I have seen success with. It's the like Mojax had said, are you getting more bookings because of YouTube? I am getting more bookings with other things, like for instance, working with I'm not signed to BeatSource, but I work with BeatSource, work with DJ City, work with all these companies. Like we're doing a panel for DJ City in a couple of weeks. That's the kind of stuff that not DJ City, Serato. And I've worked.
You're going to be on that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You too?
Yeah, I'm on that. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's great. But it's one of those things where it's like that's where the YouTube has helped me. Like when my wife said to me, "Why are you doing this? Why are you spending all this time? Where's the benefit?" It comes over time. People start to recognize what you do, start to hire
YouTube
you to do
feeds
things.
Everything.
Yeah,
it feeds everything. It'll grow your Instagram. It'll grow your Twitch. It'll grow your business. It'll grow everything. It'll grow your connections. It'll grow your reach. YouTube feeds everything. It's like the key to all things.
Agreed.
It's the cheat code, and it's hard to do. It takes a certain type of lunatic to even to even make it remotely like tiny as my little baby channel is. Like, You need to be a certain type of lunatic because it takes. I'm at video number 147. I just hit 9,000 subscribers. That is
nice.
That is. Thousands of hours worth of work, as you know, tens of thousands. Who knows?
I don't even know how many videos I have now. I gotta look that up.
You have like 280 something, I think.
Do I?
This time.
Okay.
I keep track of all your fucking analytics. Everybody's.
Gotcha.
PJ, yours, all you. I got all your shit on lock right here.
That is so funny.
I stalk you guys. I don't watch all your content honestly for a reason. I don't watch a lot of other DJ. YouTube
you're probably just like me. I know exactly what you're gonna say. You don't want to tarnishing what you want to say.
Exactly. I don't want to tarnish what I want to say. I don't want to be like inadvertently influenced and end up like, almost like, you know what I mean? Like I want to just like off the top of my head and that's it. That way I know it's not like, like I end up like just, saying exactly what you said or something. And I want to yeah, exactly.
Oh,
I really do stay away from a lot.
The funniest thing about me when I do, like if I get some sort of review unit for a product that's being released, I won't watch anybody's video because they all come out at the same time, and I know that's a thing for a lot of people out there. They're like, oh God, that's why they think, oh, you're being paid for by the company because all these top YouTubers have the gear. I don't look at anybody's video for like a week, like not for a couple of reasons. One, because when I've done my video, I don't want to know that I missed something or screwed up on something.
There's always that one thing. It's like, oh my God, why didn't I talk about that?
Right, exactly.
Every single time.
Yeah, so I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to know that. Now, the good thing is when you finally do look back, like I'll go watch Mojax's or Crossfaders, and I'm like, okay, like, all right, I did a good job. But you just, Mojax says, fuck that. I watch all your shit because I respect your opinions. Hey, fair enough, man. Thank you for that.
I watch your video. You know what? I do watch videos, but it's always the videos on the stuff that like I'm not going to cover. Like if you're covering, and so I should rephrase it. Like other DJ YouTubers, I watch the small percentage of videos all you guys make that would be something that I would make similarly. Or if you got a Rain 1 and I got a Rain 1, then yeah, I'm not watching Rain 1. But you know what I mean. But if anything else, I watch all your videos because like I am looking for inspiration, style, and all that, and I think it's interesting. If I'm not going to cover that topic, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and TLM is the exact opposite. I always watch Mojax before I shoot a review because I know he will think of things that I would forget. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. I just we all come from different perspectives, and I think that's probably the number one thing that I have learned, which is why it's not that big of a deal. For instance, I did my Rain 1 video like 2 weeks after everybody else because my Rain 1 was delayed. So when I finally got it, I did my review, and but it was different.
You think Rain's going to send me a Rain 1? What do you think? What do you think the chances? Over under? What's the over under?
Okay. So this is what I've actually learned about most of the production companies out there. They don't really care that you say something negatively about their product. They don't really care about that. They just want it to be done politely, critically, constructively.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Good then.
Yeah, exactly.
Golden. I checked every box there. What am I worried about? Oh shit.
Yeah, I ran into this with the quarantine with Rick Webb. We ran into that because Rick Webb had a it's strange because the same situation. It was over the 72 and the 12s. So
okay.
same situation. Now curious though, because I did not see that video. I saw part of it. I was like, oh, I wonder how bad. Did you actually use the Rain 1, or was that just observation?
No, yeah, it's literally outside observation. I mean, I don't need to actually touch and feel it to know how crooked it is and not symmetrical it is, and the fact that it has no analog effects whatsoever. So like it's just ridiculous. The whole thing. I don't know. I mean, I get it. Everyone's like, Nick, it's just the first one. They're gonna come out with bigger ones, more money, and it's gonna have all the things, But yeah, I don't know. The crooked thing drives me up a wall, though. I can't even handle it. Like my OCD is just.
The only issue I have with it is the fact that it does not have analog effects. That's my biggest issue. Like, for the amount of money you're paying, that should have been a given.
They could have charged more and added it.
Yeah.
I think In Music or whatever messed up with that. I really do. I genuinely do. Like they were selling SZs when they first came out for like $2,000. Like, you know what I mean? Like you would have got more money. You should have just charged more and added the analog. But maybe they have. I don't know what they have coming up. Maybe you do. Maybe they had maybe their next product.
Let me tell you what they have. Oh, they have that. Like I'm going to say anything even if I did know. Yeah. Look. I mean. What I would say is, as far as the Rain 1 is concerned, first off, I still have my Rain 1. I still use it. I'm still shooting videos. I actually have, supposedly, I got to reply to him. I have the guy that's producing the turntable, Tone Arms. I'm supposed to be meeting up with him tomorrow.
Oh, the Scratch Attack.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So
that's a wild thing.
It is a wild thing. It is a wild thing. But so basically speaking, I believe that the product itself, the concept itself, the hardware itself is fine. I use it every time. Like I haven't sent it back yet, and I've been using it every weekend. And I think that is kind of a test to how much you actually appreciate a product is if you use it or not. And I have a lot of products sitting in my studio. There's a DDJ 1000 right there. There's a Denon Prime Go. I have all of these things that I can take with me, and I continue to take the Rain 1. So that's got to say something about, what? It might not be all things to all people, and especially people that want to compare it to the NS7, but it's still a fun product to use. And, I know you can't really put fun and cost in the same situation. Timothy Cook says it's garbage. Have you used it, Tim? In all honesty.
I wouldn't call it garbage. I never said that. You know what I mean? I think, I from what I heard, again, I never touched it or felt it, okay? Mm-hmm. But, like, from what I've heard, it's really, really well built.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's solid. It's got the, obviously it has all the mag faders, which are great faders. Like, it's a good controller. My gripes are it's crooked, and it doesn't have the effects. And I personally wouldn't invest that much money in a controller that doesn't have analog effects. It doesn't make sense. I can get the SRT and have the analog effects and have the same portability of the controller. Yeah, I don't have moving platters, but, like, CDJ is great. I could see where I could see where my shit's queued up. It's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll make it work. So that's just my personal opinion on it, but it doesn't suck. I mean, it's a good shit.
He said the one scratch arm. Okay, so you got to be clear, Tim.
The one scratch arm sucks. Oh. I don't want to. You can't put down. People. That shit's patent pending. Like the man invented something. He's like a regular Einstein.
Yeah.
So
I created the piano necktie. I created the piano.
I mean, listen. I never. Have you invented nothing? I never invented shit.
Nope.
I like literally. I just yell at a camera. So
yeah. No. And I think you're right. I think there are. Look, for some people, it's going to be a thing that they were like, "That's what I've been waiting for." Mm-hmm. I want this, and I love the option. And I've been saying, this on the 12s. Like when they came out with the MK2s, I was like, okay, so this is the time when you're going to be able to play vinyl on it. They're going to find some new technology that allows you to play actual vinyl. And, they didn't do it. So I think that it is it's addressing a need, but by a very small community of people.
It's a niche, yeah. Definitely a niche.
Yeah, and I think that it's interesting to me though that it's for the Rain 1 and not for the 12s. Like I would have thought that it made more sense on the 12s than the Rain 1.
That's true.
But hey, we'll see. Maybe that's coming too. Maybe after the success of this one, he'll make one for that. But I'm gonna check it out tomorrow. I'm excited for it. I want to see.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Yeah. Let's see. Mojex was saying something to you, Nick. Where did it go? Hold on.
Wait. He said DDJ 1000 is crooked too, Nick. You tripping? What are you talking about crooked? What the hell? I'll bring up a picture of that right now. Hold on. Hold, please. 1000.
Yeah, Mike Feliciano, while you're looking, says Reloop 8000 if you want to play vinyl with some of the features of the 1200. It's not the same though. You're still just playing vinyl.
Look how beautiful symmetric. Look how symmetrical this is. Look at that. Look, that is the most symmetrical. There's not a different gap, right? You see the gaps on the sides, nice and come on, that is not crooked. Nope.
So there is a thing. There is a thing with Rain. I have noticed that they love to do this type of mirrored look, and I don't love it. I want my buttons to be in the same spot mentally. Like if my knob is here, I want my other knob to be here, not here. That is weird to me, and that happens on the Rain 1. The file knob is on the corner on one and in the middle on the other. Because of the way
I think it's dumb for that. I think it should. I like it when it's mirrored. Like, so if it's like the play button, I wouldn't want both play buttons in the middle. I want both play buttons where there would be like on a
of course,
on a turntable. But the load knobs, that's dumb. That doesn't make any sense to me. Because why are you mirroring that? Why? Because turntables have CDJs have. I guess are they mirroring a CDJ knob? I don't know.
I don't know.
I can't even picture it right now. I don't know. It's
Christie's asked, do you think the Rain 1 is a good way to get into moving platters?
Yes, but at the same time, you're also getting into way smaller moving platters. Maybe I personally, if you want to get into moving platters, just buy a cheap set of turntables, right? Mm-hmm. You can get a cheap set of turntables as long as the motor works and they rotate at 33 RPMs. You're good.
And then
grab a set of phase.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be way cheaper than any of this stuff, and you're working. And then if you can mix and DJ proficiently on real turntables, you can play on anything. Whereas if you learn on a Rain 1, get good at a Rain 1, you go try a real turntable, it's going to be way different.
The only thing I will say about the Rain 1, because I have been using it on the weekends, and I have still been scratching and practicing on my main ones, is that it has forced my hand to work a little smaller. When I've been working on my scratches, I have been having big hands on my normal 12s. Like I'm all over it. And then I realized when I use Rain 1, you have to be smaller because you only have a lot smaller surface area. But it's actually helped my DJing on 12s because I'm not so sweeping because you don't have all of that space. But everybody's different. Somebody asked, why don't you just buy turntables? In my opinion is, look, I have turntables. So first off, let me just throw that out there. I have turntables, I have phase and or DVS. Those are the options because I have needles. But I can totally appreciate someone that likes the idea of the 12. Doesn't use a lot of vinyl. The 12 is a very good system. It's always on. You don't have to worry about dirty needles or any of that stuff. It works the way it's supposed to. But there are people like me that are kind of these hybrids that are like, it would be nice if, like, I wouldn't personally buy a 12 because even if I don't use half my vinyl, or if I use my vinyl once a year, I like the fact of knowing that I can use my vinyl once a year if I want to. So I'm phase, and that's what I use. Phase is good now. With the update, phase is good. There's no reason.
Mojax, you were right on that. I don't remember if he remembers, but like when we were at NAMM right before Corona hit, like January 2020, he was like, "This update's the shit." I'm like, "No, it's not. No, it's not." and he's like, "No, I'm telling you, bro." And he was right. He ended up being right. I was wrong on that one.
On which one? On
the phase update. I didn't like how they were getting rid of the signal. I didn't like how they're getting rid of the control tone signal and getting rid of the RCAs and going full. I'm like, well, now they're Rain 12s. It's the same thing. It's like using a controller.
Yeah.
Fuck this HID mode, but like
completely
it really does work that good though. Like the drift is gone and all that. So like I'm not complaining.
There's still a minor drift, but it's nowhere near the drift it was before.
Yeah, the other one was crazy.
Yeah. Let's see here. Okay. So I've actually kept you on for a while now. I want to open up the chat to anybody out there that has some questions for Nick. You guys know what to do. If you have any questions, hit that ask, #ask, and then that way we can see what it is and bring it up and go from there.
How do you make these graphics? Are they like they like kind of add your own words and like pre-made, or are you drawing these from scratch? Or
No.
These cool intros and shit.
They're all templates that I've bought and then customized to fit my needs. So so I actually found that one because I was like, I need something that matches. I just realized none of my lights are on. Yeah. So anyway, I needed something that matched kind of that whole little laser look, and I found it was like that was perfect. It cost me a couple of bucks, and then I edited the hell out of it to make it fit my needs. So it works. It works. Somebody did ask earlier about if you played. Have you ever done a Christian wedding? And how did it go? Somebody asked like 3 times, so they think they really need to know this. Maybe they have one coming up.
If I did, it was a long time ago. Nothing's really coming to mind. I've done weddings that were on the religious side, but not like where they wanted all Christian music all night. I don't think, that one good thing to keep in mind too, another good reason to put yourself out there and post content online and do the Instagram thing and all that is like you get what you put out there. So, I post a lot of content and I'm pretty vocal of my opinions and like how I DJ and how I handle weddings and all of that. So like it kind of filters out who would even consider me for their wedding ahead of time. And that's a good thing. If someone is super religious, chances are they don't want the guy dropping F-bombs, Even though I'm not going to curse on the mic. Yeah, even though, like, I'm totally professional on the mic. Like, don't get me wrong, but, like, I'm not their guy, Like, they're going to figure it out. Like, you kind of – so, like, usually when I meet with clients that are interested in booking me, they kind of already checked me out and they know, all right, this guy could work. I'm not meeting with clients like that.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think a lot of people – look, and I get it because of COVID, quarantine, maybe where people are taking gigs that they shouldn't be taking, but you really should try to book events where the people know what you're about. Because there's nothing worse than them like, can you do this? Can you do that? And you're like, sure. And you get there and then you it's not what you want to do and you have no interest, which means you probably didn't take the time to research to really get good at whatever they wanted. And now not only do you look like crap, but then you just ruin their special event. So exactly. Just, know what it is. Like I actually had a client ask me about some weird ass thing. Like, do you guys play this kind of music? And I'm like, how long do you want us to play this kind of music for? And they're like, oh, it's only for like 30 minutes. Yes, that's fine. You give us like your top 10 or whatever. We'll figure it out. But when they're like, no, we need this all night long. Okay, you know what? I'm not your guy. Let's find somebody
I'll be
else.
honest with them. I'll be like, listen, I'll be fully transparent. I never played music. Like I just met with a couple that she's like, hey, so I'm Macedonian. And I want you to play some Macedonian music, right? And I'm like, listen, I have never heard a Macedonian song in my entire life. I know nothing about that, just being full transparent. I'll rock your wedding, but as far as that, like if you can give me songs, then I'll listen to them ahead of time, figure out what they mix with, and I'll have a game plan, and I'll make sure I play them when you want them and make it work. but like I am not well versed in this in any way, shape, or form. And then at that point, they know what they're looking for. So either say, you know what, we want someone a little more on the Macedonian side. Okay, no problem, totally. And then that's it, because I was honest with them. Or they stick with me, and then now I know that I'm not going to be like on the hook to do some stuff that I'm not, that I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Being transparent.
Mojax. I thought you said Macedonian like she's a dinosaur.
Like, with the horns, those crazy horns that come out or whatever. Some shit. Like,
hey, there's all types of clients booking nowadays.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this, especially in regards to COVID. Now there was a couple of things I know that you had done. You had said, stop posting videos of your parties.
Yeah.
Did you get any backlash from that?
Well, no, but I'm so listen. I just wanted to open up. I like all of us, right? Like I was just tired of the restrictions, and I was so scared. And it seemed like, in our state, we opened back up a little bit, and then it seemed like two people sneezed, and we gotta close back down again. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh my god. So in my head, I'm like, if all these DJs, we have so many DJs in Jersey, if you get back to work, you're all excited and you're posting your dance floor and showing all these people dance without masks, you're ratting out the venue. The venue can get in trouble. Then the venues are going to be more strict. Then if the venues are more strict, then the couples will find out that, oh wow, we can't dance at our weddings now, or we can't actually break the rules. Then they're going to postpone even more, and it just trickles down to me not being able to work at all. So it's really just it's just all bad. I'm like, listen, this is, if you guys want to work and make money, just shut the fuck up. That's literally what I said in the video. Just shut up. Don't post nothing about your dance. Well, we all know you can get people to dance. You know what I mean? Because they were literally posting just as usual. And when we opened back up just a tiny bit, I would say 80% of the venues I worked at, I started doing weddings again in August, right? 80% of the venues, it was normal. They didn't even care. They just behind closed doors. Nobody knows. Nobody's got to know, whatever. 20% kept the restrictions, but I didn't work there a lot because a lot of the weddings that were there, they didn't have them. They're like, well, screw that. We don't want to have our wedding. We're not paying all this money to not have fun. So,
exactly.
So I was in that situation. We were all in that situation. So I was like, the worst thing we can do is just post all this content, and then snitch out the venues and get the venues in trouble, and then we're not working again, So that's where I was at.
No, I get that. Let's see here. Okay, this is actually a good question. Fingers asks, should I get a manager or talent agent to get better paying gigs? Most gigs are word of mouth, and I always plug my website, but never sure if people visit it. Well, there's actually a way to see if people are visiting your website. There's analytics on your website. You can actually check all that stuff out and know
for sure your
click rate. You can find out from your click rate where they're coming from too. I clicked on this Facebook post and it came from that, and now I'm here. So learn about analytics. That's very, very important. You want to do this one?
Yeah. So a manager or a talent agent coming from a guy who has neither. You don't. What the hell do I know? But to my understanding, okay, you don't get a manager or a talent agent until you're already the shit and in high demand. Because
you can't manage your stuff anymore.
And you also want to have a professional, negotiate your deals for you. You want to have a professional handle your sales and your money and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So you get to the point. So when you get to a certain point where, your YouTube's blowing up or whatever, you're any type of influencer, then you can get approached by a management company to manage you and handle all that. That's not going to help you get gigs. And a management company or talent company will never, ever, ever represent you unless you can make them money. Because at the end of the day, when they book you an event, they take a cut. And if you don't have any name or any whatever where they can charge more money, then there's not a lot of money to be made, so they're not going to represent you. So,
think about it this way. So let's say you are on with a management company, right? And there are 3 other DJs and a gig comes up. What is the likelihood that they're going to put you on, the no name, who maybe they can only charge $1,000 for, when they can send somebody that's kind of popular and charge $3,000 for? Because it's all about money.
It's all about money.
And the cut that they receive from your booking. So you have to keep that in mind. But I think Nick is right. Don't do any. Management companies are not going to do it. Now, more importantly, get in with some party planners. Build relationships with venues. Those are the people that will, when somebody walks in, a new client, they're like, hey, I want to book you. And I'm only talking about private. Were we talking about private events? Was that his question?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
In addition to that, too, make sure you find competitive, have competitive advantages. You want to find out what they are or develop them. You want to be able to set yourself some way. It could be your presentation, how you set up. Do you use furniture? Do you use a facade? What does your setup look like? Right? Are you different than the other DJs in your market? What you play, your marketing, what you post, all that. You want to. Are you a really good mixer? Post a bunch about that because you're showcasing your competitive advantage if nobody else mixes in your market. You got to have serious competitive advantages because now you can point at those competitive advantages and say, listen, this is why I'm more.
Exactly.
And then the wedding planners and the venues, that's just gravy because they'll throw you all the stuff because of your competitive advantage,
Yeah, exactly. Right. And being a good DJ is just one aspect of being a good DJ. I know a lot of good DJs that suck at admin, that suck at follow through, that suck at, just being nice people when they're not on. You know what I mean? Like when somebody walks up and like, hey, you think you can announce this? And they got an attitude. Like all those little things play into somebody's willingness to book you again. So just keep that relationship strong. Right now, when COVID opened up, I'm going to say that since January, 70% of my bookings have come from 4 party planners because people were still on the fence. So that means only the high-end clients were the ones that are like, hey, find out about my party, go book my party, handle everything. The smaller ones weren't booking them. So if I didn't have those relationships with those party planners, and normally we don't need the party planners, clients call us directly. But if I didn't have those relationships, well, I would be waiting around for regular people to call me and money wouldn't be coming in the door. And then we would still be in a situation. So having those relationships are very, very, I just had a venue literally just now email me yesterday, email me and say, hey, we know about you guys. You guys are good. Can you do this thing event? The venue was like the catering manager, just because. So it's like, you gotta have relationships. Relationships are far more important than a manager, and word of mouth is really good. I don't want you to think the first 5 years of my company, people would ask me, hey, who are you using? Are you using the knot? Are you using this? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, we don't use any of that stuff. Well, what showcase do you go to? We don't go to any of those things. Well, I don't understand. How are you booking all of your parties? Word of mouth. People see us at an event. They tell all their friends call. We book their event. We do a great job. They see all their friends. It's a thing, and it is one of the reasons why SEE is so big is because not only word of mouth, but because of the amount of parties they service.
And it's about backing up the word of mouth with content too,
right.
Because nowadays in the last few years, you hear about someone who's great. What's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to Google them. You're going to look them up online.
Yeah.
What does their online presence look like? So that backs up. If you hear this guy's the greatest DJ on earth and you can't even find his Instagram page. Why aren't you on Instagram?
Yeah.
Where's your? Or if you have or you just have a shitty ass website, then it's like, well.
I have booked. I have booked the most random high end party planners because they're like, oh, we went to your website and your IG and it's really, really good. We want to book you. Never heard of us. They were like, oh, we need somebody good, somebody hip that does bar mitzvahs. They typed in somebody hip that does bar mitzvahs in the LA area.
It's remarkable. I'll take that a step further. You want to know how powerful social media is? I'll tell you a really quick story, okay? I did a party once, right? And this bride and groom in particular, when I booked them, they followed me on Instagram, and they were one of those where they messaged me all the time. Oh my God, can't wait. Oh my God, you're at my venue right now, like when I'm on the story or something. Oh my God, can't wait. Da da da. Super in touch. Did a lot of meetings, so I got to know this couple in particular because we conversed a lot, right? And they were so excited, so excited. The wedding came up to happen, right? Okay. And the wedding's here, and it was the toughest crowd. Like nothing I did. Like I tried everything. And like finally got them dancing a little bit, but it was just tough. The whole night was hard. I struggled to get these people to party, and it was just whatever lame crap.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That couple came up to me after, and I was dreading it. I'm like, oh my god, all this hype, all these messages, everything. Here it comes. Oh my god, don't even come up to me. Like I was gonna sneak out the back door. I was like, I was. That's what I was contemplating. I was like, should I just dip and like not say anything? Should I not even say bye? Like I don't even want to face him. I'm like, oh my god, I feel like it could, what the hell? Not that I messed up, but again, it was a rough wedding. They came up, they were like, listen, I am so sorry, our crowd sucked.
I've had that.
And you know why? That's how powerful social media is, because they seen me pack so many dance floors.
It must be us.
And post about it online so many times over the last year and a half that they couldn't wrap their head around the fact that it was because of me. It had to have been their people.
Yes.
They literally blamed their own crowd, gave me a tip, and thanked me for everything. It was great working with you. They still follow me to this day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how powerful social media. If I never put myself out there, you know what I mean? It's insane. It blew my mind.
You're right. They have a reference that shows that you're not a one-hit wonder. So something had to have been happening. Because we get that a lot, especially working with multiple clients that are at these other events where they're like, well, I don't understand. Like, how come this party was so good and mine was? And then you go, oh well. Because you did this, you chose this, even though I told you not to do this, and all of these little things that you wanted to do affected your event. You're like, oh, okay, and it's like, hey, and by the way, tell me, what's your take on telling clients they're wrong?
About what? Like, give me a situation.
Like a client says, hey, you know what I really want to do on my party? I want to do this, and I want you to stop the crowd and then go into this, or I want to have dinner and all these things all at the same time. When they come out with thoughts on their event, how much do you steer them correctly? Because I say this because I know a lot of people that will say, anything you say, client, anything you want to do, but I'm a no guy. I'm a, you know what, if you want to do it, that's fine, but let me tell you what's going to happen when you do this, because you want to have the dinner and you want to have all the toasts and you want to have the cake cutting and everything in the first hour. Okay, cool. Let's do that. But let me tell you what's going to happen when you do that. Because of this is going to happen. Or do you just say, wait, whatever you guys want to do, I'm cool.
I'm trying to think of a situation where I would really push to steer it, because honestly, I'll throw, I'll give my little advice in there, but if they shoot me down, then I don't for example, I went over my wedding with someone a couple days ago, and they're like, hey, we were thinking we don't want to do the whole dance, the whole first dance, so we're going to invite everybody up. I'm like, well, if we're doing the parent dances right after, you're going to invite everybody up, we're going to put them back down, I would, I could shorten the dance for you, and then they went with it, right? If they said no, I would have invited all the guests up and then sat them all back down and dealt with it. What's the big deal? I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? If they want to do all the formalities up front, which a lot of them do now, a lot of them, most weddings now, dude, there's no cake at all or bouquet garter. So literally we do intros, first dance, parent dances, toasts, then we dance them, then dinner, then we dance them again 2.5 hours straight. I just roll it. It don't matter to me. I mean, I don't know. It just if it's so glaring that I know it's going to be, but I can't even think of a situation. I'm a go with the flow guy, and I plan my ass off, and I make any type of situation work. I don't know.
I understand.
Give me a situation where you're firm, no, trust me, da-da-da. What, I can't think of one. Because if there was one, I would, you know what I mean? I'm not going to set myself up to fail, but
I mean, I've had clients, you have the physical issues where they're like, okay, well, here's the layout of the room.
Oh, yeah, behind tables? Fuck that. No, never. Never. I'm on the dance floor. On the dance floor. No, don't hire, whatever. No, that I'm firm with. Do not put Nick in the corner. I'm not blowing out. I got to hand out fucking earplugs to everybody. No, I'm not doing it. And I'll pitch it how less effective it is and all that. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So because I know, because I have party planners. Party planners never want to tell the client no. I only know 2 party planners that are sticklers, no, I know
they're all the same, bro.
Yeah, I know. And it's and I always think to myself, it's don't you think I've had the most positive respect from clients when I tell them no, and I tell them why I'm saying no. Not just, no, I won't do that, but okay, you could do this, but this is why I would suggest going a different route. Because if you do this, like for instance, oh, we want to put you off in the corner and we're going to have all of the tables here and there. I'm like, okay, well, that's great. But, or the ones with where they have split rooms. Like they have half the group in one room and half the group in another.
But how would you do it? Like, say it right now, like in your professional talking to a client voice. Like pretend I'm your client. Listen, I want you back in a corner behind grandma's table. Also, I'm gonna feed you a sandwich with a bag of chips, and you got to wear a bow tie and a cummerbund.
Yeah. Right. So clothing wise, I'm a little more accepting because I get that part of it. But if they're like, we want to put you in the corner, I say flat out, okay, if you put me in the corner, here are the things that we have to deal with. First off, you have a sound issue because I'm going to have to project audio louder. So the people that are going to be in this specific area are going to be affected more. Also, because I'm off in a corner, the dance floor is so far away, there's going to be a disconnect from the audience and for me being able to do my job. I need to be there with the crowd in order to fill them, in order to read them, so I can give you the party that you actually want.
You know, I think you have an advantage because like you have
Bam!
a voice. You have you have like one of those, like you could be like, if you weren't doing all what you're doing, you could be like one of those call center people. Like you have a nice voice. Like I talk loud and everyone thinks I'm screaming when I'm really not, you know. I have this problem. It's just like I can't tell you like how many times it's like, yo, why are you raising your voice? I'm like, I'm not raising my voice. I'm just talking to you. Okay. This is how I talk. So like, I feel like if I said that, I would come off a little more rough, a little more like, is this guy coming at my neck right now?
Like, hey, I'm not saying nothing to what, but you know, I mean, it's like,
so my hands are going all over the place while I'm saying it, you know?
Yeah, you know, and I actually did work at a call center before. I've done all types of things.
Look at you.
Yeah, but like, I think what I try to tell people, I'm a big fan of managing expectations, and I don't want a client that saw me rock a party, right? And then they come to me and they're like, okay, we know you're great, but then this is what we want to do, and yada, yada, yada. And I'm sitting there going, okay, well, these are all options. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I need you to understand what kind of party you are going to get. And if you're fine with that, then fine. Like I have people like, I'll do it. And there's like not 10,000, but there's like 10 different vendors there. You got 4 photo booths. You got all these tables and casino and all these things. They're like, but we want to dance. And I'm like, look, that's fine. But all of this stuff that you have is going to go against people wanting to dance with me. So if you're fine knowing that I'm a vendor, then I'm good.
Yeah. And you're just being transparent, you know,
yeah.
like that's what you got to do. I agree with that.
Yeah. So, you know, it is what it is. DJ Stretch asks, yo, what record pool y'all use?
Beat Source. I don't need a record pool no more. Stream it all, bro. Stream it all.
So, and it's funny that you'd say that because I was in a Clubhouse, the Clubhouse app, not in a Clubhouse with people. That'd be weird. I was in Clubhouse and we were talking about Beat Source. It was Beat Source was on, Serato was on, and I had said something, and I know I'm the guy. I'm the guy that like always sees, well, what if? And I said, you know, tell me guys, what do you think about the fact that in some cases streaming is not applicable? You know, like we're in a situation where right now everybody's using streaming services like BeatSource and Tidal, but we're sitting at our houses. We're streaming, so we know we got excellent Wi-Fi.
Offline locker.
Yeah, so the offline locker, which you do pay a little more for, but yes, I agree that the offline locker is definitely something you should have if you're going to have BeatSource or any of them. But what I was saying was people haven't been out in the real world enough in order to really see the benefits or the negatives of the streaming yet. You know, the offline locker is really the only option to prevent any outside issues.
Yeah. So to explain like where they're going with this, right? Right now, I think the best move, it's a newer technology. Streaming music as a DJ is like new, right? It's brand new. It just came out, right? Beat Source is great to supplement your current hard drive, right? Nobody's given up. Everybody has a hard drive full of music right now, the DJs. Nobody's given that up, right? You use Beat Source to supplement it. Maybe instead of buying music every month, buying the new tracks that you'll never play again, but you have to just, play it at this one event, you can now just get them off a Beat Source, put them in an offline locker. You can use it offline flawlessly, not a problem at all, because you don't need an internet connection. And now you don't have to buy those tracks. When you're done, you just delete that playlist and it's over.
Right.
Maybe it's to utilize all the playlists, all the stuff that's pre-curated, and it can just give you ideas, and you can mirror those on your actual hard drive. I mean, who are we kidding? How many people can pay $20 a month, $10 a month for Beat Source? Look at all my playlists and then just mirror them exactly with their own actual crates. You know what I mean? So you can use it for inspiration, as well, and it also helps you stay dialed in, because they have playlists called the 20. Every week it comes out with 20 songs you need to add to your crates and all new music and stuff like that. So and a viral playlist that has all the TikTok songs. So if there's a TikTok song you can't find, all that stuff. All the digging and stuff is done for you. So I think right now it's great to supplement your current hard drive. You use it in conjunction and use all the different things you can do with it, to just help enhance what you do and make your life easier. But in the future, as this builds, as they get edits on there, as they have remixes and 100%. Intro edits, and maybe they'll make the locker bigger, whatever, as the whole Beat Source thing evolves over the next year or 2, 3 years, the internet's going to evolve. We got 5Gs in our assholes and shit now, right? It's all coming, it's all going to give us whatever.
It's in my shot, so I'm good.
Exactly. Yeah, it's in your, exactly, all that, right? Well, the internet's only getting better and better, and so is Beat Source. So eventually, I think the future really is where the internet's going to be widely available. It's going to be at the very least, even if you live in the boonies, you can buy some type of hotspot that'll work eventually, even in those remote areas, and then you'll be able to stream everything. And then the other idea is that newer DJs that come on that are start DJing now,
it's
never
great
owned
for
a
newer
CD
DJs.
in their life.
It's absolutely amazing for new
they've
DJs.
streamed all their music their entire lives.
Yeah.
So obviously, why wouldn't they stream all their music when they start? So that's going to be, a thing. So I just, if you look at it like that and how cheap it is, they could, I'm telling you, it should be for what it's on there. It should be $200 a month. It's insane. $10 a month, $20 a month. And what you get, it's a no-brainer. You can cancel half your music services. You know what I mean? I don't
right. No, I think you're right. And I think, cause I know a lot of people have said, they don't have all the songs. And I think one of the differences between a Beat Source and between a Tidal is they're not trying to have all the songs. They're trying to have all the songs that DJs use.
Correct. But also with weddings. So that's why it took me 4 months to get these crates out. I've literally been submitting to get the rights for every song, for every label, for every dead artists.
So you're a good point then, because a lot of people, you're going to be the reason that a lot of songs pop up in Beat Source that may not have been there before. So that's correct. That's great.
Yeah, I brought a lot. Yeah,
because my whole thing was when people are asking me, they're like, "Well, what should I get? Should I get Tidal or Beat Source?" And I said, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you just need a streaming service as a backup to pull that song that Grandma asked for, that's where you would use Tidal. But if you're using something where you're I'm playing a '90s party and I've never done '90s music, I pop up Beat Source, go to the '90s playlist, and now I'm good to go. So that's the difference right now. Because Tidal will never give you curated music, ever. That's not their thing. This is what Beat Source is for.
And I agree with that, and that's the correct truth. Tidal does have more songs than us right now, but also just know, anybody who's listening, we get the rights to songs every single day. I get an email from a new release that we got the rights for this, rights for that, and we are constantly trying to get the rights to almost everything that would be useful, that we would need. They're working behind the scenes, so we're hoping. They're
doing it the right way.
Yeah, we'll have everything. It's all legal, legal the right way, straight up. And then same thing with edits and remixes. All right, so even for remix, let's think of a bootleg, right? Sure. A bootleg, you get an instrumental and then you put a different acapella over top of it, right? It's a bootleg. Well, now that's complicated to get the rights for because now we have to split it. Is it a 50-50 split? How much of the acapella did you use? Maybe it's a 40-60 split. Now we have to deal with like all the behind the scenes people determining on how we're going to split it and then who gets how much money per stream. So like even for one little remix, one little bootleg, one little edit, there's so much that goes into getting the rights so we can stream it and everyone's getting paid what they want to get paid, what they agree to get paid, and we're good, you know? So like there's a lot that goes into it. So it just takes time, but you know,
it'll come.
They have a squad and it's going to come and it's
it'll
going to
come.
be, dude, it's
out of all the streaming services out there, I feel the most confident that, you know, within 2 years from now, you know, BeatSource is going to be the end all for DJ streaming. It'll just be a part of it. And I know a lot of people don't want to spend the money, but the locker is a godsend. You absolutely need the locker because I've been in. This just happened. Somebody asked me. They asked me for it was Lady Gaga's track off that movie. Tell me something good.
Shallow, yeah.
Yes. So I didn't have Shallow because I've never had to play Shallow in any event I've ever had to do. So I went on to BeatSource and sure enough, they had it on there, dropped it in my locker. Now, here's the important thing because when I got to the venue, which was at a home, Wi-Fi, internet, dead, nothing there. I would have been so screwed if I thought, let me just stream this. So I say for the important things, if you know if somebody sent you the request list and you know you want it, you know you have to have it, pull all those things, throw them in the locker. You know, and that way 50 songs, if you have more than 50 songs in a request, you have bigger issues. So throw all those in the locker and then that way you're good to go for the event. But it would be nice if I know they have 50, they have 100. I don't even know what plan I'm on because I'm being, you know, taken care of. But I know a lot of people have been trying to get like their entire, like I need at least 500 songs in order to sign up for the locker. First off, it's going to be expensive. That's first off. And then second off, you might want to just start to buy some music then, you know, because certain stuff you want to have locally. I know that I saw TLM just said something here. TLM says you can search through an artist tracks with a BPM or a key filter when you're creating a playlist. Can't do that on Tidal. No,
right.
I agree 100%. And I like the fact that BeatSource is working with Serato and they're trying to build these things in the back end because one of the biggest things that Serato is missing, and I know somebody asked earlier, can you take your history and then create a Serato playlist? And the answer is no, because it's not BeatSource's fault because it works perfectly in Rekordbox and in Algorithm DJ and in Virtual DJ. It is a Serato limitation currently. I know they're working on it. I just don't know when it's coming out. So just sit tight. It'll be there. But yeah.
All I could say is every single issue anybody's ever brought up is literally being worked on.
Yes.
And I believe that one day there will be a solution. That's all I could say. That's what I think. I mean, I don't know. You know, whatever.
Look, we have to.
In trouble.
Well, no. We have to realize that, and even when I got the first beta for BeatSource and I'm talking to Asher and I'm like, hey, it's not doing this or this song's not popping up. And he's like, I know. We're working on it. Hey, what's going on with this? Yeah, I know. It's okay, well, at least you know. But one of the things that I told them right in the beginning when he first showed it to me, I'm like, where's the clean versions? Where are my clean tags? I have no way of knowing what's clean. And he's like, yeah, we need to get that. I'm like, no, you don't understand.
We just added the feature.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't use this until you have done that because a lot of DJs are private event DJs. So they're going to need to know what's clean and what's dirty. And then sure enough, when Serato's update came out, the clean and dirty tags were there in the beta and then it changed everything. So thank you guys. Let's see here. Title search drove me back to Spotify. It wasn't even about DJing. It was just difficult to find songs using title search field. Oh yeah. I mean, I haven't had any issue, but then again, I don't really use Tidal all that much unless I'm trying to just find something specifically. James Jackson says, how do you guys manage splitting time between booking private events and clubs, bars? I'm just curious to know.
What's a club and bar? He said manage time.
Yeah, well, I guess. Oh, you booked a nightclub on Saturday night, and now you have a wedding on Saturday night. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, for me, like private events are booked way in advance. So like those go. You know, if I got a wedding on a Saturday, I got a wedding on a Saturday, and that's it, and that shit's booked. But on every once in a while you get a Friday or maybe a Saturday off, and then that's when I work in club stuff. That's when I'll for me, I had or whatever. I don't know. I think one's opening up, the other one's gone, but had relationships with them where. They would do the schedule like about a month and a half. Like, so in the beginning of 1 month, we'll do the schedule for the following month. So I'm like, hey, listen, I got this Friday off. Can I work there? And I just shop my whatever dates I have off with the club people. And then they, and hopefully fill them and then keep it moving like that. So,
yeah, because there's a difference. If you have a residency,
yeah,
then obviously your residency supersedes your private events. And, or if you get a private event, you already know that it's 6 months away. Then you can get a replacement for that day. That's the only thing you can really do. But you have to go to where, like for me, I'm assuming that all my Saturdays are booked with private events. It's a one-off if I get a club gig on a Saturday night. But now everything else is open. Oh, Friday night, Thursday night, like in LA, Thursdays are really big for clubs now. So I'll take a Thursday gig, but Saturdays are reserved for making, clubs are for my enjoyment.
Same.
Yeah.
And
Private
content.
events. Yeah. And content. Private events are where I actually make my money, bottom line. Cause I'm not the guy that can charge, $1,000 to DJ a club, and nobody's going to pay that anyway, especially in LA where every person on the street is a DJ or knows a DJ.
I heard about that. I heard the pay in LA is like almost as bad as New York.
It's garbage. It's
That's what I
garbage.
heard.
Yeah. Like you better love DJing because it's not for the money.
It's the DJ's fault. If everyone just band together and said, fuck that, we're charging this month, we'd be good. It's literally, I blame the DJs. Like any market that sucks like that, look yourselves in the mirror. Start charging more. Start demanding more.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden they're going to be like, now featuring new Twitch DJ, blah, blah, blah.
Jukebox. Oh,
We're
yeah, right,
streaming directly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it just depends on what it is. It depends. But Hollywood, it's, the club life is very, very important to Hollywood and LA. Like that's kind of our thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. DJ Lou Diamond says, so Beat Source is labeling clean tracks now. No, they're labeling explicit tracks. So if it doesn't say explicit, it's clean.
Correct.
Although I did get burned once. And I sent it to Asher, like, yo, man, what happened here? And he's like, oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's.
We have a back end fix for that now, which is making it a lot easier on us. Before it was a whole process, and now it's like just one little bloop. So,
gotcha.
We're really combing through. So don't worry.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. All right, 2:30. I think we've kept you on long enough. Let's see. Last couple of questions. Throw them in the chat if you have any more questions. We're gonna answer maybe one or two more, and then we're gonna sign off with the man here. My area address. Okay. So thanks for answering. No problem, James. Glad to help. All right. So I know we didn't talk about your co-op. So you work with SCE. They handle all of your bookings. Mm-hmm. Have you always worked for SCE, or were you on your own and then they saw you and said, hey, come work for us?
No, I work for another company. I joined SCE.
They pulled you from another company.
No, I hit up Janai. I followed them. I discovered SCE on my own, and I thought they were cool as shit. I was like, these guys are killing it. And SCE, I live in South Jersey. The office is 2 hours away from my house. It always been so. But one day, I wasn't happy where I was at, and one day. Jason posted that he was looking for people, did one of those posts, and I was like, and I remember asking my girl, I was like, because it was 2 hours away, so it's like, am I really gonna drive? Like, really for what? Like, you know what I mean? And but I wanted to do it, but I just wanted my girl to just talk some sense into me. So I went up to her and I was like, hey, Jason Jan, I just posted. He's looking for people. Should I apply? Right? And I'm waiting for her to say, why would you apply? It's stupid, right? She's just like, honestly, I'm tired of you bitching about the company you're working for. Go apply. Hit him up. I'm like, what?
Okay.
All right. And then that made me think. And then I started. All right. Well, then I made my little like what's it the benefits and non-benefits whatever list, right? You know, so I started doing that, and I'm like, all right, fucking, I ended up hitting him up, and then he hired me right away. So
cool. And how many events does he have on a Saturday night? I would assume like 10, 15 events.
Like as a company?
Yeah, or probably even more than that.
Yeah. Well, no, you got to really. There's only 11 of us, so you know what I mean. So no more than that. You know, I mean, we have a couple younger guys. But, I mean, not since quarantine, but like before, if we had like a little small birthday party or something, you know, we would see if one of our younger guys are available and not doing anything, and then like send them to that. Otherwise, just say no. But no, yeah, we only have 11 people, so like that would be the max. I guess.
That's, you know what? That's also what I'm doing now. You kind of live and learn throughout everything, and once quarantine came on, it kind of changed your priorities and what you felt was important. And one of the things was like, once I closed down my office, I was sad for a minute, and then I started to realize, well, shit, like, I mean, we didn't need the office. We might have needed a place to store stuff and to be able to access it quickly, but the office was just for clout. Hey, come to my office, blah, 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 you know, and it's like, but we never really had many people there for interviews and stuff like that. So it was stupid. And now, thank God, one of the benefits of COVID, if there are any, is that people now know how to use fucking Zoom. So now I don't have to drive an hour and a half out of my day to get to someplace. I can just go, no, get on your Zoom, have your family get on your Zoom. They can all get on individual Zoom devices, and we're good. Couldn't do that before.
Life works out? Yeah, exactly. Like I was stressing about that, and the first year I worked for SE, first 2 years, I put literally 100,000 miles on my vehicle.
Yes, me too.
Vehicles, right? It was insane. And you know, and now I could just do Zooms, and it worked out great. So you know, glad I did it.
DJ Fly, what up, Fly? Asks, where does Nick get all of his floral button-up shirts from?
1973. That's where.
Okay, fair enough. Diamond Lee asks, and I know this is kind of a big deal. He says, "Are you going to keep your Tuesday night on Twitch?"
Yeah,
okay.
Always.
What's your feeling on Twitch? Yeah, let's talk about that real quick.
You know, it changed, you know, because now I'm back to work. Now I'm back to doing 3-4 weddings a weekend. I'm very, very busy right now. You know what I mean? But for me, like, Twitch is great because I can just have a couple drinks, you know, maybe smoke something and just like play the shit I want to play, sing the songs I want to sing, have a good time. You know, if people come, it's great. I appreciate you guys for being there. But like, honestly, it's just a way, I don't know. It's just different. I never had, you know, my whole life, you know, 15 years DJing or however long I've been DJing, it was always playing for a crowd and trying to do, trying to play the right tracks to make them dance and create a good party. I was always thinking about everyone else, and I never like really just took a moment just to DJ for me and have a great time and, you know, truly enjoy myself. And that's what Tuesday nights are for me. So like, I really, truly, I mean, barring like I'm going to Vegas in 2 weeks. I won't be on then, but like, you know, I really, Tuesday nights, I will always be on Twitch. I mean, as long, I mean, you know, not for long, I don't plan on quitting anytime soon because it really is. I genuinely enjoy it, and it's fun, and it makes me, you know, have crates of music of just I like. It makes me dig for music that just I like, and I actually have discovered so many songs, discovered so many artists, and came up with a lot of good ideas that ended up I could use at a wedding or at somewhere else. Yeah, from that,
people don't realize how much spontaneity happens on Twitch. You know, you're just
100%.
You're changing it up. The vibe is changing.
And it's all recorded, so then I can go back and be like, "Yo, that was a good idea," and I can just go watch it back, and then like it starts becoming, you know, I don't know. So I'll always do it.
And somebody asks, "Are you streaming on both Twitch and YouTube, or just Twitch?"
So for my show that I do it just YouTube. So that's I did do both, but then I had a restream issue one week, and then I was like, "Fuck that, Twitch is dead to me." And then I only do YouTube now. And honestly, it just didn't make sense. You know, so Twitch is Tuesday night 9:30 at Twitch. You can I DJ and act a fool, and then 12 o'clock noon on Tuesday I do my show, but that's only on YouTube.
Gotcha. iFlames asks, is Beatsource getting more Afro beats? And the answer is yes. From different parts of the continent, yes. It's been getting bigger and bigger. They actually have a good guy now that does that. That's his whole thing is Afro beats. So take a look. Take another look. James Jackson says, in your 3-camera video, why no love for the GoPro type camera? Curious about that.
Oh, well, because I just didn't think. I guess that GoPro would have been number 4. So if you guys don't know, I made a video saying like you need to own these 3 cameras, and I was talking about 3 different cameras that I think that are super useful. You know, if you recommend if you guys get one of them, it's gonna like really change the game for you. And like GoPro is like, you know, it would have been a close 4th. I use GoPro to stream on Twitch. You know what I mean? And it's good to have a camera that's just waterproof in case, like, I don't know, I wanted to vlog at a water park or something. I don't know.
Right.
Like it's just rare, but like,
I mean, you have a phone now. I mean, your
exactly.
iPhone.
And that was the first one. I said a phone, right? That's you have a good. I said invest in a good iPhone, not an Android, because every Android camera sucks. I don't care what Android you have. I consistently once a year, multiple times a year, anytime I'm around an Android, I'm like, yo, take a picture. I want to see if they finally fixed it. Nope, still sucks. Keep it moving, right? I always check. You can't argue. Maybe Android has better features, but it does not. The camera sucks. Get a good iPhone. Number 2 was a 360 camera. I get the coolest shots with my 360 camera. I set it up on a stand. I did it this weekend, the last weekend. I set it up on a stand. When I have, the dance floor I'm mixing, and then I have it, you can take pictures from your phone with the app or whatever. So I just take multiple pictures. Later on, after I'm home, after loading out everything, you know what I mean? I go through them, find a good pic, and you get really cool angles. And then the third one, I don't know if I'm doing the right order, but then the other one I talked about was just a point and shoot, just because if you're just getting into photography, grabbing a point and shoot like a G7X or like equivalent it's super easy to use. They generally have good autofocus and everything. It's just something out of the box. You just press a button, take a picture.
What's in front of you right now?
Good introduction. This is a Canon M50 Mark II with a Sigma 16 millimeter 1.4.
So how come your battery's how come you don't go to sleep? TLM's kept going to sleep. You have a dummy battery?
I got the AC outlet. It's the direct plugged in, and you also have to fix the settings. There's a setting on there that it will go to bed, so you got to make sure the sleepy time setting isn't on. Very, very, very
Gotcha. Christy says, I'm the only DJ in my market that uses a facade. Every other DJ uses a table scrim. Blah. Would DJ furniture be worth it to separate myself?
Yes. Your clients would shit their pants. They would literally offer to wash your balls if you got furniture. You need to go buy furniture right now. If that's literally what your competitors are doing, you will be able to double the price of whoever anybody who uses a scrim. Find out what they charge, make a fake email, hit them up, pretend like you're in love with your husband and you're about to get married, find out what they charge and double it. Maybe even triple it depending on how low it is. You will get furniture. 100%, I promise you.
I can't afford a Joe Bunn command booth.
You can afford a hoverboard.
Really?
Hoverboards are cheaper. My hoverboard was only $1,200. I mean, I'm not trying to the command center is great, but it actually is cheaper. There's cheaper options,
And now there's the one that people will say copied Joe Bunn, the one that's off of what's her face is selling. The case company that I've repped for the longest time.
Or something.
ProX case. Yeah. They need to send me one. I need to get one in the house because I look at them and I'm like, I've had a couple of events now where that thing would have made the difference.
The major key with furniture too is you want to leave it all together, right? Because then you're not going to want to use it. If you end up building it every time, and I don't care how easy it is, if it only takes me 5 minutes to build it. If you're anything like me, you're gonna think of excuses like, you know what? I don't feel like building that thing today. I'm gonna use something else. And you want to use it every single wedding. I use my furniture no matter what. And the key to that, you keep it together. Find a custom case maker, make a big ass case for it. And all I do is I take my whole furniture, turntables, S9, everything in it, all pre-wired, and I stick it in the case. I have 3 wires come out of it, a power wire and 2 XLRs. I wrap those bad boys up, put it in there because my furniture is a T. It's cool. I have underneath on either side of the base, right. I can put my tops in there. So my RCF tops go on either side, so it's all in one case.
How are you transporting it?
A trailer, and the case is on big casters, so it's on wheels. So I roll it in. I got a trailer with like the castle door or whatever. So I roll it right in, roll it right out. Piece of cake. And I made sure they made the case where you can fit it through any doorway, right? It's like a certain inches or whatever, like a standard doorway, and you're good to go. And it's so worth it. And also, so if you use turntables like I do, or even Rain 12s, that's more. It's harder to set those up than a controller. But if you keep it all in one, I set up in 15 minutes unless I have lighting.
You just made a coffin that nobody wants to carry around even heavier, but it's on wheels.
but it's on wheels. You roll it in, and then, dude, my case for it is so ginormous that like I can put every bag, everything I don't want to have, like after I'm done setting up, all goes in there in one little place, and then I just got to find a place for it. And I guess every once in a while I run into a venue that doesn't have room, but I'll just stick it back in the trailer. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? It's worth it.
Yeah, now there's a trailer I need to. I've just gotten used to the fact of because of quarantine of like, okay, my packages are getting smaller. So
I'm going van though. I'm not going to do a trailer forever.
Yeah,
I don't recommend a trailer to anybody because the problem with trailer, or at least in our area in New York City and Jersey, there's a lot of roads where no commercial vehicles are allowed.
Oh, right.
So you get caught on that parkway. It's always the parkways and shit like that. You get caught on that road and they pull you over. They technically can tow your trailer with all your shit in it. And that is a bad thing. You don't want that happening on the way to a wedding. So, the vans are just easier. They're easier for parking in cities and stuff if you're in a metropolitan area and you can fit everything, and get a ramp. So that's what I'm actually personally doing that.
Kylie Palm asks, and this is a very long question. Lighting upgrades. What are the lighting must-haves?
Just when you can afford it. Number one must-have: wash effects over bullshit effects.
Color washes are always better.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So at the lowest budget, get a wash effects or something like that, where it's wash effects. Don't do any
sprinkle dots,
exactly.
stars,
lasers, nothing like that. Okay, that's cheesy. It's tacky. It looks terrible in pictures. It ruins pictures, and you don't want to do that. Then if you get more money in your budget, don't cheap out. I would just wait and save up and get legit spots. Don't get the little tiny baby ones because they're not going to do shit. They're not going to be bright enough. You might as well just the wash effects for $200 from Chauvet is brighter than those little baby spots that you're going to buy for $400, but they just move around, so they charge $400. Like, it doesn't make sense. So save up $1,000, $1,200 to buy a spot, get legit spots. And then what?
For my main ones, I still rock just 2 350s. Chauvet 350
spots. Yeah. I got 140 SR hybrids, the Chauvets. I like them because the hybrids, they do a frost effect. So like so it's really it's a really like kind of I don't know the word for it. For the first dance when you're spotlighting things, it's just so natural. It's not. I don't like spotlighting things and actually like you see like on TV or a movie where it's like an actual just a spotlight that follows people around. Like a cop light, like a cop flashlight, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you have to soften. You have to soften the circle up.
And the frost effect that these hybrids do are really, really cool. It's the most natural light, but it still creates like a really cool effect. I don't know. I'm a fan.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, well, there you go, Kylie. Hopefully that answered your question. And one of the things I will say, I know we're saying Chauvet. Don't worry about the name. American DJ makes great lighting. Chauvet. There's so many out there. Like I've always said, they're, they're all, I still get hit. So last year, NAMM.
Yeah. Like brand name only matters when it comes to like speakers. That's all. That's when brand name matters. Okay. Because there's a very big difference between certain brands and other certain brands. Very big. Very big.
It depends on what you are doing, what you're using them for. But yes, I don't disagree. I know people are locked to their things. Like some people are like, oh, I use Mackie and I'm QSC guy. It's like whatever. But if it works for you, cool. If it doesn't sound sterile, that's my whole issue. Just don't sound sterile. When you're pushing the sound, if it sounds tinny, that's a crappy speaker. And I've gone through, like, I've always been a JBL guy, and I've gone through all of them. I don't like the new JBLs. I think what they've done is they've taken what used to be a midline product, and then they've bumped it to a higher tier. So now you have all this shitty product underneath it, and you have to spend more to get the good products. Like the PRXs, the PRX powered, I don't like. I think they're some of the shittiest speakers out there. I think they're basically Eon 515 XTs, and it's just a lie.
Those Eon G2s from back in the day were fantastic. That's when they made speakers.
They still work. I have a pair. They still work. Yes.
Love them.
They still work.
Love them.
Yeah. Now, my SRX speakers are they're super, super heavy. Some of the best sounding speakers I've ever used.
They're loud, though. Yeah. They sound good.
Yeah. So, anyway. But yes, name brand. I mean, you probably know I've done a Bose spots and I like the Bose. I mean, I like the convenience. I'm all about
Bose is
convenience
great.
right now.
Bose is great for cocktail hours, ceremony speakers, having a convenient like little thing. They set up quick. They're easily ran and they do sound great. But Bose lacks on real like actual PA systems, like to actual rock a crowd. In my opinion, I have yet to hear a Bose setup, which is supposed to be their big pro like subs, all that, like for like an actual dance floor, 200 people, 300 people. I've yet to hear a Bose setup that sounded good, that didn't peak, that had low end. Like
So-
to me, like they've never, you know.
It's funny that you say that. So I only have the one speaker and the one high. I actually emailed my guy like, I need you to send me the other sub because I need to hear if there is a difference when I'm dancing hard for a lot of people, if it's going to make a difference. Because on a bigger dance floor, you know, if you start to push it, you know, you will struggle with just that one thing. And I've noticed that Bose is selling, like on American Musical, you can get the 2 subs in one line array. Like that's a package. So apparently it's a very popular package. But here's the thing. So I didn't get that yet. So when I did my party this weekend, I had the Bose and I had an Eon 515 XT that I just kept behind my facade. So when it was time to dance, I just turned it on. And I was like, oh, okay, here we go. Now we're even. So that's why I need the other sub. I might need to do a follow-up video.
Yeah.
Anyway, but as far as like sounding warm and the mic sounding crisp when you're doing speeches and like it's a great sounding system, and party planners love it. They love it. They walk in, they're like, oh my god, this is perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
And not a whole bunch of tripods and all that crap everywhere, you know. So to each their own. Okay, let's see. Last question. Is there anyone? Do you purchase gear based on current package? Oh, hold on. Do you purchase gear based on current package demands or presumed growth? Big controversy in my network. This is a simple answer for me. Simple. If you cannot recoup what you've spent in 3 to 4 events, don't buy it.
Oh no!
Yep.
Stop
Don't buy it.
You could say that about furniture.
Well,
You could say that about a bunch of things. Some things are like expensive. 3 to 4. I mean,
if you can't, because if it takes you a year or 2 years to make your money back, it's actually not a good investment.
I just spent like, I'm all in. I'm probably close to $4,000 on my ceremony setup. But I'm going to charge a little more for ceremony, and now it's kicked me in the ass to charge a little more, and now sell the reason why I'm charging more, because like nobody has a ceremony system like what I have. Like nobody, no DJ you're talking to is doing what I'm doing. It's impossible. Nobody's using dual fins, full distro, SLXD mics, lavaliers, and you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think that if you're looking to buy equipment, it's good to buy it first, because it's going to motivate you to sell it, and also you can get depending on what it is too. How it's tough to sell lights if you don't already have them, because how you get content from them, right? You buy them first. You like when I first got my lights, when I first bought uplighting, for example, I did it for free for a couple weddings that didn't have it. It's like, hey, you care if I bring my lights, for free? And then I got a bunch of cool pictures of it, and then now I put those pictures everywhere, and then you promote that.
We never really needed that, because a lot of people, it became a thing, and I think this is probably a thing in New York where they're like, oh yeah, well, this other company is doing uplights and whatever, and then you can start to kind of see the demand for them. And then if the demand is high enough, and I have the benefit of being able to see a year or 2 out on what my packages are going to consist of. So I can say, oh, okay, yeah. Like when we bought our silent DJ headphones, okay? For the first couple, we rented them until we saw the demand. And then when enough people said, we want to rent them from you, knowing that we had 4 events in the coming, 6 months, 9 months, then we bought them, because we knew we were going to break even, and now we can make money off of them. That's all I'm saying.
That makes sense too.
Yeah. Because we got into the habit when we first started of just buying a whole bunch of shit, and then realizing over time that it's like, we didn't need this, and we barely use this thing, and why did we spend money on this thing? It's like, we probably should have just rented this. You start to just kind of see the cost benefits. Now, if you want to turn into that guy, the ceremony guy, that's like, you're known for that. And I actually know DJs. I do parties right now where a DJ, a competing DJ will do the ceremony for the event, but they won't book them for the party. So they're still working. They're still making money.
Heard of that.
Yeah, like I know DJs right now that have light companies. We're like, oh, we want to use your lighting, but we don't want you to DJ. So we come in and DJ, and they bring in all the other stuff. Yeah, it happens all the time out here. But I know in New York it's really, really a one-stop shop type situation. I know that's kind of a big thing. But yeah, it just depends. It just depends. Yeah, but like I'm a big fan of rent first and then see. Lease your own equipment, which is better. Owning is always going to make your money. If you rented, you're first off, if you rented, typically speaking, you're not going to be able to charge as much because you have to pay the rental cost.
It's like setting money on fire. It makes no sense. Like just buy the equipment. Also, you're renting. How do you know the last guy that had it?
Yes.
If it's broken. These dudes they don't check them. There's always that one speaker that doesn't work, and now the day of the wedding, you got to go find another one. There's so much bullshit. Buy it. Save your money.
The best thing to do for most DJs starting out, or if you need something, dude, there's 5 different companies right now that will do a year payment plan with no interest. So just
Zounds does that.
I'm all about Zounds.
Zounds or whatever.
Zounds is my sponsor for all of my hardware now when I need gear. So I tell people, it's like, use Zounds. You get on there, it's like 4 months, 6 months, 12-month payment plans. Yeah. Doesn't get much easier than that.
No credit check, zero interest. They just charge a fee in the beginning, which isn't that bad. It's pretty good. Like in the past, I bought stuff from them for sure.
Oh, somebody says, is there a real market for silent DJ? I just booked a silent DJ just yesterday.
Silent disco.
So it just it depends on you. Like right now, and I'll tell you why there's a market right now. A lot of clients are still not doing events at venues, which means they're at their house, and a lot of the venues are doing outside parties. That's all they'll do. Like we have one right now where they're having it outside, but the city ordinance only allows you to go up to 63 decibels, which is absolutely dirt silent. So silent DJ is a good way to be able to play amplified music and not have to deal with the fact that you're playing amplified music. So yeah, silent. There is a market for it. Now I don't know if there's a market for where you are.
Yeah, do some research. That's one of those things that either it's going to go well or you won't sell it at all.
Like I said, we rented it. We made our money back like that, and now every time we sell it, it's a profit. Now the only problem is fucking silent DJs in storage. There's no power in storage. That's the only thing I miss about having the office. We could just plug shit in and leave the building. Now everything has to there has to be forethought. Really annoying. Okay. There is a market for silent DJ because people are whacked. Talk about party for losers. Okay, we can say that if that's your thing.
He spelled losers with two O's too. Losers.
Look, I'm all about business, and if I can make money off of something, there's a reason that I own photo booths. There's a reason that I have video projectors for montage and uplighting. That's why I have, I think we now have like 80 uplights. We have like 7 boxes. Like there's a reason they make money. So if silent DJ is going to make you money, why get mad at that? Who cares? Anyway. All right. Hey, Nick, it has been a pleasure to have you on. Honestly, this has been a great time. I really appreciate it. We'll have to have you on again later on.
Anytime,
yeah. And
I want to have you on my show, bro. I got some questions for you, dog.
Let me know. I'm there. Let me know. Did I just miss the entire show? Yes, you did. Oh man. So what we're going to do is I need to hear bass. You know what? You must have been using some crappy silent DJ headphones. Like there are some really good ones out there. Or maybe you got jacked up ears. Check it on the replay. It's on YouTube. It's on Twitch. You can check it on the replay, especially if you are a subscriber. But we are going to raid, since our man Mojax was here for the entire time and helping us out. We're going to raid Mojax. Let's show some beat source love. TLM, thanks for hanging out the whole time, man. I know you had your own thing and it takes a lot, but I appreciate that.
Thank you, TLM. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, let's raid Mr. Mojax. Mojax. And let's show some love. All right. when we do the raid, so by the way, let's see what's going on here. So tomorrow, I have Tech Thursday as always. I got DJ Kova in the building. We're gonna do a hybrid Tech Thursday. We will be bringing people on to have questions. So tomorrow, make sure you're on. That's at 10 o'clock. We're doing it at 10 o'clock a.m. tomorrow, and then we're not doing a show on. Well, we might be doing a show on Monday. I can't say that yet. It might be a secret show. So on Monday we won't have a show. Wednesday, I don't know who I have anymore. Oh, we're still working on that. So we won't talk about that. Anyway, make sure you guys stick around. Make sure you follow Nick on his YouTube. Follow Nick on his social media. Follow Nick on Twitch. He's still doing his Tuesday show. It's always a good time, especially when he did his hole in the wall, where it was just
remember
a
that?
wall.
I forgot all about that.
That was a great time. Great time.
I forgot all about that.
All right, guys. So you guys know what to do. We'll be setting this right up. It's counting down. So we still have a couple more seconds if anybody has any more questions. How much do you rent your headphones for? Depends on the situation. Typically anywhere between $15 a headphone, but it depends on the amount that they spend. So if they need 100 headphones, they're going to get a cheaper price than if you need, 50 headphones. So it just depends. I'm flexible though. I like making money. All right, guys. I think we're raiding out. So we'll see you guys soon. You know what to do. Peace out. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Later.